Time Car Talk Show coming your way here in just a couple of minutes. We do this to get all of the electrons pointed in the right direction.
The neutrons and the electrons.
Okay, well, you go with the neutrons.
Okay. Is there a dance, neutron dance?
Is your phone on silent there, Conrad? Because I know that typically it's not.
It is. But I'll have to check the volume on Facebook.
Okay, all right. And how about you, Mr. Mars? Good morning.
Morning.
Well, you got the wrong headset on. Yeah.
Although it is becoming of you.
It is.
The lighter headset makes my eyes stand out.
It looks
better.
very George Jetson over there.
Oh, thank you.
More like
Yeah.
Judy.
Is that a compliment?
Elroy.
At my age, it is.
Yeah.
It's Elroy Jetson.
Because you realize that was what, 1969?
Oh, probably earlier than that.
It
Yeah,
is
I
earlier.
think so. I don't know. You tell me. You're older than me.
No.
It's just a facade. You don't know that for a fact.
It's a neutron.
Dance.
Yeah, neutron dance.
The neutron dance.
That was with. That was in what movie? The Cops movie. With,
What's his
name?
Murphy.
Yeah, that's him.
Beverly Hills Cop.
That's
Yeah,
it.
first one.
Thank you. It's still early.
Okay, you need to either put that on or take that off or do something over there,
Okay,
Mr. Mars.
you got like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and we're going to start our broadcast right about now, as a matter of fact. Well, it's the NWIL Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, everybody. The most fun and informative car talk on the planet. A couple of great guests just ahead, including Mayo Smith from the Piston Foundation and a student from the McPherson College Automotive Program. Had a chance to drive the new 2022 Cadillac CT5. I'll give you my thoughts on it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later, Conrad has This Week in Auto History. Just ahead on the NWIL Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Mr. We Need More, Jeff Zekin.
Yep.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. I'm sorry? What's the problem?
Is it on?
It's on.
Okay.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
It
I
says
showed
it's
him.
on.
I showed him.
Yep, we're good.
On. You good?
Thought that's what we were doing the first 3 minutes.
I know. I don't see any volume over there, but I don't have anything to do with that. It shows that it's coming out of here. So that's on you. Well, sorry for the typical Saturday morning
Startups.
in-wheel time iHeartRadio. I don't know how else to put it. But we shall move on with our program this morning. And we are going to talk with Joseph Scheidel, McPherson College Auto Program, and Mayo Smith with the Piston Foundation. How you guys doing this morning? It's good to have you with us.
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes, you bet. So how are you two married in McPherson College and the automotive program?
Well, maybe I'll start. Mayo Smith with the Piston Foundation. We are a national 501c3 charity whose mission is to fund skilled trade education for the collector car community.
Specifically, the collector car community.
Well, we say collector car, but that really is it's a broad range. As you gentlemen well know, car culture, spans a lot of different generations and genres. And so we're trying to encapsulate all of that, both, historic classic cars, historic race cars, but even, enthusiast cars today, whether those are resto mods or newer cars from the 80s. We're not trying to be too pigeonholed. Really, the mission here and the idea behind the foundation was to help bring on the next generation of car technicians to be able to keep these collector cars, whatever they may be, whatever genre they may come from, on the road and usable and enjoyable for generations to come. What we've seen is, a generation of car technicians who are retiring, moving on, and a gap.
Or
for-
dying.
Well,
or dying. I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, we all do at some point.
I also work in the car industry, the automotive industry, the repair side of it. And you're exactly right. You go into some of these dealerships and some of these independent shops, a lot of the guys look like me. They're gray, early 60s, and
They're
they
not
have,
near as handsome as you are,
well,
though.
no, true. But you're right about how that is not being backfilled in the volume enough. And then even further than that is how many people could rebuild a carburetor today? I'm assuming you guys teach carburation as well, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to let Joe step in because so just to get to the finality of Don's question, the way Joe and the Piston Foundation are intertwined is Joe is one of our inaugural recipients of the Piston Scholarship Awards. So the Piston Foundation was started in 2001, so we're about a year and a half into this endeavor. And we've just announced 10 scholarships, and Joe, who's a freshman at McPherson, is one of those recipients. So I'll let Joe talk about his experience and what he's learning at McPherson. But for those that don't know, McPherson is the preeminent auto restoration college in the country.
Where is McPherson located?
So McPherson is located just on the eastern side of Kansas. It's very central, but it just leans to the eastern side a little bit. It's about an hour directly north of Wichita. So if that gives you a good idea.
Yeah.
It's about 1,600 miles from my house. So that was a very fun ride out here with my father. A lot of great time spent with him. And I have him to thank for everything. Coming out here, helping me throughout the way, all of it. But I'm married to the Piston Foundation through a couple friends of mine, one of whom is he's a member of the Piston Foundation, and he writes articles for a friend of his, and he's kind of tied to them like that. And so I've kind of been close to the Piston Foundation through him. And so when the Piston Foundation had said they were coming out with scholarships, it was heavily implied that I should apply for one. And so I did. I applied for one, and I was lucky enough to receive it. So one of the first 10. I was actually surprised to find out that 9 of the 10 students who received scholarships are from McPherson College. So that kind of it's nice in a way. Makes you feel like part of a little more of a community.
But it also shows what McPherson's doing for that part of the industry is they are
Right,
producing
so-
those people that fit the mold of what the Piston Foundation's trying to do.
Right. And I'm surprised that the Piston Foundation and McPherson's automotive program haven't been tied more closely together before now. Because McPherson, I say it's the only one in the country, but I believe there is one other. But the difference between them and McPherson is I can't name the other program. I don't know where they are. I don't know what school they're a part of. But ever since I was a freshman in high school, I could tell you that McPherson has an automotive restoration program. And I had some friends tell me that I should consider going when time comes. And so here I am now.
Now, this is a 4-year program, correct?
Correct. So there are lots of technical schools in the country, lots of trade schools where you can go and you can learn automotive mechanics or automotive electrical or diesel mechanics or body paint, whatever you'd like to learn. But those are all trade schools. Those only typically run for 2 years. McPherson is different than that because McPherson is a 4-year bachelor's degree in automotive restoration specifically, and then you can have an emphasis in technologies, which would be your typical in the shop work, rebuilding motors, making frames or fixing frames, doing suspension work, that kind of things. Or you can have an emphasis in business, which could be business management, and that would be tailored to automotive restoration. So that would be specific to a auto shop go into a history route. So if you enjoy reading and you enjoy writing things, writing books, learning about the history of automobiles, you can also take the historical route and you can go into the history of automotive restoration. So that's why McPherson is such a well-rounded school with such a great program, is because it's not just in the shop for 2 years. It's a program with a degree that you can come out of and get a job anywhere you'd like.
You started on tractors.
I did. So short term, I started on tractors. I've been around automobiles my whole life. In cars, my father has a handful of them. So I would be going to shows with him since I was old enough to fit in a car seat. And so he kind of kickstarted my passion for it, from going to shows to sitting in the stroller while he's working on his cars in the garage.
to handing him
as
the
I get older-
handing him the half-inch and the 9/16 wrench and holding the flashlight somewhere along the way too.
Yeah, exactly. So he kickstarted my passion, but it was I want to say it was 2016. My father and I were at a local cruise in Connecticut where we live, and I started seeing a bunch of trucks with tractors on trailers pulling in, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I had never really seen an antique farm tractor before that, and so I was just like awestruck by them. And so I hung out over there all night with those guys, and they were also open and also kind. And so my father, who knows Rick Theriault, who's a close friend of mine who's involved with the Piston Foundation, him and Rick had talked about it, and Rick had told my father that if I want to come to the tractor restoration program that Wamogo High School had, I was more than welcome to. But my father had to stay with me because I wasn't a student. So I've been in the restoration program at Wamogo I was in it for 6 years, from my 7th grade year until I graduated. And every time I go home over the summer, I'll go back. But that really was another big stepping stone in my life for kind of taking restoration to another level, because it gave me a start to finish view on the process as a whole.
So, Mayo, how does a student, say, for instance, 17 in the high school automotive program here in the Houston, Texas area, get your backing for...
How do you submit for the scholarship, I guess?
Great question. So we had a window earlier this spring where students could go online to the Piston website, which is pistonfoundation.org, where they could fill out an application. And, we asked the students to provide us with some handwritten stories about their passion for the automotive craft. We asked them to film a video of them, talk about their passion, and why they wanted to pursue a career in the collector car restoration industry. And then internally, we had a committee that would review the applications. We had almost 40 applications from all around the country, and that committee chose the 10 that we awarded just recently. And as Joe mentioned, 9 of the 10 were given to McPherson students. The one other scholarship was given to a student attending Lanier Technical College down in Georgia. Lanier Tech is a unique 2-year program. It's part of the Georgia State University system. It's a 2-year college where the students focus on a motorsports program and graduate with an associate's degree, similar to what Joe described at McPherson. It's a diverse program, everything from electrical, body, engine building, maintenance, and so on. And the program is very unique, I think, because it's run by the former head of engineering for Panos Racing. So John Leverett
Oh, wow.
was the head engineer for Panos Racing for 20 some odd years, and he runs the program, and he's done a great job. He has 100% job placement rate for his students. But one of the challenges that he has, and one of the things that the Piston Foundation also strives to do, is to help create a network. So the graduates of Linear Tech often go into racing careers, most often in NASCAR, which is, as you know, just up the road. A lot of the teams are based in the Charlotte area. But a lot of his students really don't want to pursue a career necessarily in auto racing. They want to get into resto mods, or they want to get into classic car restoration, or they want to get into tuning for modern cars. John doesn't have the connections that he has in racing, so we're able to help him and his students find opportunities as apprentices or job opportunities in other areas as we start to put our network together and build out that referral program.
So how do you reach out to today's youth, the 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are in high school that are driving a Honda Civic?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's something that we're working on. Obviously, we have a website, as I mentioned. We've got social media. We're partnering with folks like Lime Rock Park, which is a racetrack here in Connecticut.
Sure.
And some other partners, and we're working to try and expand that to get the word out. As a startup, like any other business, we're learning as we go, and trying to get recognition and notoriety is something that we work on every day, frankly. And, opportunities like we have here to get the message out to your listeners, and other opportunities in the press are starting to get us noticed, and we're getting national recognition.
Joseph, what are you doing? Are you still in school? Are you in the automotive business now? Where do you stand?
So I'm currently sitting in my dorm. I was really hoping to get into the automotive building to do this call with you guys. There's a lot of really great areas in there with beautiful backgrounds. But all the buildings are locked today, as it's Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm stuck for my dorm for now. I'm just starting my third week of school here, and I am really enjoying it. I won't go into gen eds or anything like that with you guys, but I'm taking sheet metal right now and a required course called Introduction to Auto Restoration. And that's more of a lecture class, kind of go over what the program offers and introduce kids who may not be as skilled or as knowledgeable in restoration as others. So I'm sitting in sheet metal right now, and we're about 5 or 6 classes in. We started out doing panel beating. So we made a small patch panel for the front of an MGB fender. And from there, we moved on to another panel for that fender. And so now we're going over torch welding and gas welding. And it's tricky, I will admit it. It took me a couple times to get it. But once I did, it came out halfway decent.
Did you have welding skills before you went to McPherson?
I did. So I learned MIG, TIG, and stick in high school.
Okay.
Primarily MIG and stick. However, the seniors do have the chance to use the TIG and work with it a little bit.
So are you currently working in the automotive field, working at a?
Is there any co-op to where you are at McPherson?
So there are plenty of internships that I can take over winter break, over summer break.
Gotcha.
Right now, I'm not in an automotive field. I actually work at a family farm a couple miles outside of town. So I'm doing a lot of mechanical work for them as well as operating work. We're harvesting beans in a couple weeks here, so I'll be helping them with that.
So what is your ultimate goal in 4 years? To get a degree and then go on to fill in the blank?
Right. So I would like to have my own shop.
Gotcha.
And one of the biggest things for me is I've never been one to want to work on really high dollar cars, their job, but that's not really what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about building old school hot rods and kind of backyard builds that you would typically see throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Okay.
Because that's where my heart is. So that's kind of what I would like to build in my shop that I'd have. I currently, right now, I own a 1946 Plymouth business coupe. It's a two-door, three-passenger coupe, and I had some troubles with it before I left for school. I ended up breaking a head bolt on it, and that kind of is pointing me in the direction of building an old school hot rod out of it. It still has the original inline six, the flathead 218, so it makes just shy of 100 horsepower. It's got the three-speed column shift transmission. And what I'd like to do with that car is I would like to find a early Chrysler Hemi, 331 Hemi, and a truck transmission, a truck 4-speed, and I'd like to put that in that car. That way I can keep it pre-1955, pre-1960. It's something that you would see a high school kid build.
You are such
in
a
the
rebel.
50s or 60s. I know.
But he has a
Everyone told me.
cause.
Yeah, he has a
People were
cause.
like, just put a small block Chevy in it, or put like a 318 Mopar.
Put an LS in it, brother, and tub it out.
And
No,
tub it
no,
out.
no,
I said, that's no fun.
Yes, it is.
Everybody can put an LS into
Great
it. I want to
experience.
put a Hemi into it.
Well, listen, it's great.
So-
It's great to
Still
talk
tub
to
it
you,
out.
Mayo. Let me ask you, what's the best way to get a hold of your organization?
Well, again, I think the easiest way for folks to get a hold of us is at the website, which is pistonfoundation.org. You can learn more about the foundation, our mission, the people behind it. You know, this is a volunteer organization. As I said, we're a startup. We had a great first year of fundraising. We're about to kick off our 2022 Founders Club campaign. And you know, really, you can donate online, and really any amount is helpful. As you can see, you know, it's really satisfying as somebody that's been involved with the foundation since its inception to see the fruits of our labor in Joe, you know, at McPherson with a passion for, as he just described, you know, building hot rods and continuing the craft for the next generation to be able to enjoy.
Where
So,
were you when I was in high school? Man, I would have been all over that.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see you guys, and really great to learn about your program. And Joseph, best of luck to you. Let's check in here in another 9 months or so and see where we stand from there.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Appreciate it. Okay, time now to move on. There seems to be a lot of microphone clunking this morning, and I
apologize for that, but I'm trying to get over there.
trying to get over there. Yeah, because apparently this is not working.
So if we kind of do a little bit about events, is that what's next on the list?
Yes, you can certainly
Well,
do that.
the biggest event coming up is next weekend, Tailpipes and Tacos at Lupe
Just a little bit
Tortillas.
closer, please.
Tailpipes and Tacos at Lupe Tortillas off of Grand Parkway in Kingsland out in Katy. And we'll be kicking it off at 8 to 11 for the show. We're giving away 3 chili. What's the name of the award?
Those are the chili pepper trophies.
The chili pepper trophies.
Yeah.
Pretty cool car trophy.
Yeah.
Something
That
definitely.
would, we're not giving
definitely
them away. That'd be Stan.
Stan
puts
home.
on the show. Yes.
Their
Good.
awards for.
Yes.
So, other things coming up is tonight the Washington County Fair up in Brenham is going to have their old car show. No entry fee. Texas Night at the Humble Civic Center is tonight, and that starts at 7 p.m. At 11 a.m. Tomorrow is the Classic Car and Art Show in Humble. And Drop and Chill is tonight.
Drop and Chill.
Drop and Chill at Localicious on 17,540 block of Kirkendall up in Spring, up near Grand Parkway. The Drop and Chill at Localicious. Love the names of some of these things. Wharton Cruise Nights tonight.
Take your gun.
To Wharton?
No, to the Drop and Chill.
Drop and Chill?
Yeah, because you never know.
Well,
what
this
you
is
run into
Texas.
up
You
there.
should always be armed. Saturday Night Cruise In at Home Depot at Marina Bay down in Clear Lake Shores. Tomorrow, again, is Octane and Espresso at Black Rifle Coffee. What a great pairing that is. Black Rifle Coffee?
Not yet. I'm waiting for you to bring some in.
It'll put lead.
Put
in
it-
your it'll put lead in your pencil. Boy,
Well,
I'll tell you.
I need that in a K-cup. Would you do that for me?
Yeah, you want? Okay.
It's just you and me. I'm not paying attention to these other two here. I can't deal with. Yeah, there's
And
too
then-
many things going on over here.
And then tomorrow morning is Car Culture over in Cinco Ranch, off of Cinco Ranch Boulevard in Katy. Back to you, Don.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And
Our own Don Pardo.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2023 Cadillac XT5 all-wheel drive. Available trim levels include luxury, premium luxury, and sport. I had the luxury. But how do you define what is entry level at this level?
At that price point.
So this is a mid-size crossover. You've seen a million of them. Extremely popular, a big seller for Cadillac. How many passengers? 4 passengers plus the driver. Exterior changes. This vehicle debuted in 2017, so it's getting a little long in the tooth. But, they're still selling them, so let's just go for it.
Well, it still has that Cadillac style.
Yeah, most definitely. Cutting-edge design in 2017. Looking a little dated now. Vertical front lighting is now common among the entire Cadillac line. Rear lighting is incorporated into the fender panels. Dual exhaust tips incorporated into the lower rear valance panel. What I liked about it, the overall design still remains attractive today. Could use improvement. Needs an update or a makeover to stay competitive, I think. Now, as far as interior highlights are concerned, attractive, functional dash with what once was a large 8-inch touchscreen, not so large anymore when you got 1 foot across. So, again, needs a little updating, but it works great. Controls are easy to use, comfortable seating with nice leather, and easy release folding back seat. Cargo and trunk room adequate with a handy movable cargo gate.
No third row available.
No.
Good.
I know. Don't squeeze the third row into something that's not designed for it. What's I liked about it, the hidden but easily accessible passive cell phone charger that GM has integrated kind of into the center console, but it's kind of slides in at the very front of.
Oh, so it doesn't lay flat.
Doesn't lay flat.
So it slides in and you can
slides
see
in.
it while it's.
Well, you can't really see it. If you want to see it, you take it out, but it's all connected via your, Bluetooth.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah, it works great. I really like it. And they're not the only one to do that. 3.6-liter V6 is an option. The inline 4-cylinder is standard. The V6 that I had has 310 horsepower, 271 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic transmission. It'll tow up to 3,500 pounds, but this car really isn't made for
Kind of a
towing.
GM workhorse powertrain as
Pretty
well.
much, yeah. Miles per gallon, rated at 22 city, 29 highway for a combined of 24. I got 24.0,
Yeah,
spot
right
on.
on the money.
Over 325.6 miles. What I liked about it, plenty of power for the class. What could use improvement? It's a perfect candidate for electrification. Ride and handling, easy ride feel. It does have an over-boosted steering wheel on it. So it's kind of like the old Buick. You take your little finger and move it around this way and
And
back.
what's funny is that's electronic steering. So that should be tunable.
Yeah, well,
Fly-by-wire.
Yeah.
yeah. And I want to talk to you about fly-by-wire, as a matter of fact, a little bit later on, not in this segment. Base trim price $51,995. Price is tested $68,340. Base model price. You can get in this, if you can find one, for $44,195. I think it's priced right. Competitors, the Lexus RX for $45,920. The Lincoln Aviator for $54,535. And the Genesis GV80 for $50,200. And
That's right in the ballpark.
Yep, yeah. That's the review of the 2023 Cadillac XT5 all-wheel drive. All right. The In Real Time Car Show streams on iHeartRadio when we can get it to work. Facebook, YouTube, and InRealTime.com. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Real Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. This is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to have Conrad's This Week in Auto History. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy along with Mike out of this world, Mars, Chief Engineer and Head Potentate, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. We had hoped to have somebody from a British car club on the line with us.
But the electronics weren't working.
And the Queen is dead. And that was the whole point of having somebody on the line with us.
He might be here now.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't have any time for any of that.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
So let's talk about what did you have something in particular you wanted to talk about?
Well, Cadillac, just coming off the Cadillac review of yours.
Oh,
yeah. Cadillac released the Escalade V Series.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're now selling an Escalade with like 682 horsepower.
As they should.
Well, Chevrolet and GMC truck aren't. Not that one. Chevrolet and GMC truck are not sitting there staring at Cadillac blowing by them. So they've gotten with Special Vehicle Engineering, SVE. They used to be called SLP, and they were the ones who built the SS Camaros and Firebird Trans Ams. They're building a
I bought a Camaro through them.
Yeah, and they were the cars would come off the assembly line, get put over at SLP, get worked on, and then go out to the dealerships. Well, they're building 700 and 800 horsepower trucks for GMC and Chevrolet. The Chevrolet is going to be called the Yenko SC Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban.
Oh, you're kidding me. They're going to steal the Yenko name? No.
Yes, they are.
That's terrible. Why would you do that?
Because they can. I guess they have the rights to
That's
it.
BS.
And then GMC truck is just going to do it in their Yukon Denali as an upgradable option. They're not going to build a lot of them, but it's pretty interesting that, they've lowered it, put some big, huge tires on it, and a ton of horsepower. So they're not sitting down watching Cadillac build their 700 horsepower truck. They're going to build their own, because I guess they didn't get permission from GM to put the supercharged 6.2 in it like Cadillac did.
Jacked up mess. Well, last week I had an electric car that I reviewed, and oddly enough, Automotive News did a story that basically, let me just run this by you. Even as electric vehicles account for a growing share of U.S. new car sales, Significant charging hurdles hold back interest,
You think?
especially among renters and condo dwellers. Home equipment, typically in an owner's garage or within easy driveway access, supports 84% of all EV charging in the United States, according to a 2022 J.D. Power study. But 36% of people live in multi-unit dwellings, such as apartment buildings and condos, according to the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau. That mirrors the 34% of new vehicle shoppers that J.D. Power found lack access to home charging.
Yeah, you can't just run an extension cord out.
Yeah.
Well, you can. Half of the EV rejectors in the J.D. Power survey cited lack of public charging as the deterrent, according to Brent Gruber, the research firm's executive director of Global Automotive. An unrelated survey of car buyers by dealership software provider CDK Global found that 40% of EV shoppers would wait until they have a garage to purchase an EV.
Better get a garage by 35, huh?
240 volt connection adds 20 to 25 miles to the charge per hour.
Mhm.
It costs about $1,200, including installation, depending on the building. There are other complications depending on the state. California tenants, for example,
Oh, boy.
must obtain and pay for liability insurance to cover damage or injury caused by an EV charger. And landlords can charge fees for a dedicated space next to a charging station if a tenant doesn't have a reserved parking spot. Take that, California. Several cities are creating on-street charging for EV owners who don't have access to off-street parking. Kansas City, Missouri started a 3-year pilot in 2021 that added EV charging to street lights. Now, I'm not sure how
Oh,
you
boy.
get charged for that.
So I'm sure they just put the little meter on it. There's no way they're
Like a
offering
parking
that
meter.
for free.
This year, Minneapolis and St. Paul installed a network of on-street EV charging stations.
Of course.
EV owners may not want to leave their vehicle at a public charger for hours at a time for convenience and security reasons. Duh. Those without a garage or charging station where they can live can choose to charge while shopping or at the gym for an hour or so. They can also request their workplace install an EV charger. Government agencies and utilities offer financial incentives to companies and groups to install chargers. Well, the story goes on and on and on. And this is not going to be some overnight fix.
No.
This is something that's going to take years and years and years.
And money and money and money.
But everybody is rushing to buy EVs and thinking, oh, well, this is going to be great. Okay.
The system can't handle it.
Well,
First off,
as a matter of fact, in California, the brownouts are happening right now.
Yes.
And in the instructions, do not
Charge
plug
your
in
car.
your EV car.
Between 4 and 7.
Yeah.
And aren't there inner cities around the country where they're actually stealing or removing the copper wire from the light poles? So if that's the case, what is the going rate for an EV plug copper?
good question. Well, like I said last week, Beaumont's putting in 12 Tesla DC fast chargers.
12.
12 of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, but this is just out at over by the Papados off of Walden Road. Because I was kind of surprised to see that many of them in one location. I could see 2 or 3.
Listen,
of them.
if I were Papados, I would do that because what that's going to do is it's going to drive traffic into my restaurant.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And I can sell lots
Because I need
of.
to charge for an hour. I
You
can
sit at
go-
the bar and have
Yeah.
an hors d'oeuvre or something. And
Because the only thing else around that Papados is
Subway.
Cracker Barrel and Subway. I mean, it's the only go in and sit down and have a nice meal restaurant in that location.
Yep.
But is the grid strong enough to power up as many as they're going to need?
Apparently not.
It's not even strong enough today. So how much?
To handle ice storms and hot, long summer weather. So what are you going to do now? You're going to start plugging in all these cars.
No, you can't. You just have to walk. Take public transportation, which is their ultimate goal.
so instead of stealing catalytic converters, they're going to take your electric
When's
plugs.
the last time you rode on a city bus and paid for it?
Yeah.
When was the last time you found
Probably
a city
going to the
bus?
rodeo. Because I usually bus into the rodeo because it's just so
that
much
would
easier.
that would make sense. But
If,
I'm
if
talking
that would
about
count, but outside of that, In Houston,
Would
never.
is there a bus service out there in the Cypress area
Yeah.
that can take you into downtown?
Yes.
There is.
Have
It's
to
at a
dri-
park and
I'd
ride?
have to drive to it. But
To the park and ride.
Yeah. yeah.
So are you talking public transportation bus, or are you talking like?
Yeah, no, public
like-
I've
transportation.
never been on one in Houston.
Okay, no, I've never been on one in Houston, but I've taken buses where they've taken us to the track or taken us to a gig or something. A big,
I've
big
taken the
bus.
train.
No,
And
The Houston train
the
the monorail,
Metro
or
Rail.
Metro Rail.
as part of your media, or just you did because it was convenient to do something?
well, I thought it was convenient, but after it stops every 10 feet to pick up more passengers or drop them off, it takes a long time to get to where you need to go. Yeah. So in other words, let's just say, for instance, that you board the train out there at Reliance Center.
Mhm.
Okay. Because there's a station out there, there's a repair
And you're
facility
going up to
out
Minute
there,
Maid Park.
and you're going down to Minute Maid Park. Well, you're going to have to walk from Main Street over to Minute Maid Park. That's a problem. If the weather's bad, or it's 1,000 degrees outside, you can't go to Minute Maid Park.
And this is Houston.
This is
Both of those are highly probable.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, I hope that Buzz Smith is listening.
Well, there's no
if he
doubt.
can, if he can listen.
No, there's no doubt he is. But electrification, everybody's coming with it. General Motors just announced the.
And they're going to stop building cars with gasoline motors in them.
They just announced.
Can't wait for that.
The Chevy Equinox EV, pure EV, which is generally about a little bit smaller than the size of your CT5 or the XT5
XT5.
from Cadillac. Well,
Yeah.
you had the CT5 not that long ago,
Uh-huh.
but the XT5, about the same size as an Equinox.
Mhm.
So fully electrified.
And there won't be a gasoline alternative. I think it's time now to get into the gasoline automotive business.
That's
There
what
you go.
that's what they do at McPherson.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean to build a gasoline-powered automobile of any kind, because all of the major manufacturers are going away from it. So let's get into the business.
And
Buy up all the
I could
patents.
see Elon going, "That's a good idea."
Buy up all the patents and
and Elon
trademarks.
starts building Teslas with an ICE motor in them.
As long as he tubs them out, that's okay.
Tub them out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was pretty interesting.
No, I think it is. I think it's without a lot of money spent on infrastructure to build the things we need.
Oh,
to do
but
that.
we got $10 billion that we're putting in infrastructure.
Yeah.
What do you think that's just going to happen overnight?
They have $100 billion they haven't spent from the last trillion they gave away.
Yeah.
They've taken 6 months to put in a third lane right turn down the street from my house.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's stupid.
I know. You know, because you go by there.
I do. Anyway.
Honda and LG, LG Electronics.
Yep.
They got together to build a 4.4. They're building a $4.4 billion battery plant in the United States. Over in the, Honda builds so many vehicles in Kentucky, so kind of over in that Kentucky, Southern Ohio
Honda's
area.
not building any vehicles these days.
It's true, but it's gonna be a huge battery plant. They plan on having it up and running by 2025. It's gonna,
Dang, man,
It's going to
that-
employ a lot of people
I was going to say,
That's pretty quick.
from ground up.
yeah. With, 1 billion square feet.
Yeah, they didn't say how
How are
big
they-
it's going to
And
be.
how
but
are they going to haul in all of the
rail?
precious metals that takes
It's all
to build it?
got to come in on rail. That's really the easiest way to move it. But you got to think most automotive assembly plants are built on close to the rail system, because that's how most vehicles, all the raw material comes in and all the parts come in, as well as how the vehicles go out, is generally by rail. So, central United States, Ohio, Kentucky area.
Oh, by the way, I read a story that Chevrolet's Corvette Z06, that, GM said, okay, we'll sell you the car, but you're going to sign a document that says you're not going to flip it within 12 months. Well, they've backed off of that,
That's always been the case, though.
but they've backed it off to 6 months now.
Yeah.
So you
Under
Yeah, but you still got to pay $100,000 more for it, and put $5,000 non-refundable down when you place the order, and $20,000
Well,
down when your order is confirmed.
yesterday on Mecum auction, they ran a 2022 Corvette. It was 450 horsepower. It had a wing on it.
Just a regular one.
2022. It had 200 miles on it. It went for like 102. at the auction.
102,000.
Yeah,
That's not an unreasonable
no,
price.
which is about.
But the Z06,
sticker.
they've also said that they're only going the 2023 allotment of Z06s is done. They've sold out of 2023 Z06s.
No more production.
Well, they'll be
But not on
producing them.
that.
They'll be producing the other Corvettes.
Right.
But yeah, they're only going to make so many Z06s, and then next is 2024. So,
The next
Yep.
guest. Is this?
and then
Oh. Okay.
VW had a class action lawsuit on extending the warranty on their water pumps on just a whole ton of Volkswagens and Audis. And they are going to cover you up to 8 years or 80,000 miles from the date the vehicle first went into service. But that's going to be all the way back from 2014 on up to 2021. So something good, except 8 years and 80,000 miles on a 2014 isn't going to get you anything.
Would you like to talk about Miatas for
Sure.
a minute? Joining us now on the Zoom is Freddie Riggs with the Houston Miata Club. Freddie, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, it's good to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us today.
I appreciate you having me out,
Well,
or in this case, virtually.
are we helping you out, or are we destroying your fun thing that you got going on over there?
Well, I don't know how fun it is to sit in your office at home and talk on the radio, but I'm
No.
enjoying it already.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad to hear that. You guys got an event coming up.
We do. The Texas Miata Roundup is an event that's primarily sponsored by the 4 clubs in Texas, the 4 big Miata clubs: Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. Because of COVID and everything else, we have had a few years off, to say the least.
Really?
The last roundup was in 2019. It was sponsored at that time by the Bluebonnet Club out of San Antonio. The Houston Club is sponsoring this year's event in College Station, Bryan College Station, October 20th through 23rd, and we're looking forward to having a really good crowd.
Well, tell me about it. I mean, you're just not going to park your car and sit around sitting Indian style around a campfire talking about it.
No, we'll drink beer too.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. We need to add a little life to this.
Yeah, actually, I don't drink beer, but a lot of my cohorts do. So yeah, there's a lot involved in a roundup because it's basically a 3.5 day weekend kind of thing. You can come and register as soon as Thursday afternoon at 3. It'll run until Sunday morning, and that includes basically just getting together with people we haven't seen in a long time due to the pandemic. So we're going to all hang out, visit, check out the new cars, check out modifications, things like that. Dinner will be Thursday night. Kind of typically people will group off in 4, 5, 6, 7 cars and go to different restaurants. We've got a restaurant guide we've already put together for the Bryan College Station area so people can pick out what they want. Friday will be fun runs both in the morning and in the afternoon. Shorter runs, the 2.5 hour type runs. And Friday night we'll be going on a couple of different dinner runs out to some different locations outside of college. One in Bryan actually, and another one about 20 miles outside College Station. Saturday we have longer fun runs. That's more of like a 4-hour thing where you go drive for about an hour and a half, have a nice lunch somewhere, and then make another loop heading back towards the hotel.
Trying to find some of the twisties out around Somerville.
Yes, actually, that's one of the routes is going to go right over there off Somerville, Lake Somerville, in the Anderson area, north of 105 and 1774.
Some fun roads to drive.
I mean, unless you're in the hill country, these are about the best roads you can look for in our area.
Right.
And we've mapped out several runs. We're still mapping a couple others to meet all the needs. But as we feel the weather cooling off, I've got high hopes for great weather too.
Did I not get that memo that the weather is cooling off? It's
He just predicted it.
94 today.
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever. But there's
compared to
hope on the
103.
horizon, huh?
Yeah. We're hoping.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of Miata you got?
Which one?
Oh,
Oh,
one of
multiples.
those.
the one with the roll bar.
What's the oldest one you have?
The oldest one I have is a 1990, the first year model. It's actually build number 523. I think it was built the first week of the production. I found it on Facebook from a woman who was selling it about 25 miles northwest of Sealy. Lived out in the country. Her husband bought it for her in '91, and 41,000 original miles. It needed a little bit of TLC. She had her barn and garage and house painted without covering the car.
Wonderful.
Lord.
There you go.
A true
Yeah,
barn
there was a
find.
little- it was a risky move, but I had my mechanic with me, my
good
good
thing-
buddy Austin Snyder out at SR Enterprise in Sealy, and I said, "What's the worst case?" He says, "The worst case is you got to paint the car." All right, so made an offer that was commiserate on possibly having to paint the car. Turns out he buffed it out nicely. Paint's good. Interior's perfect. We put a few 300-400 miles on it. It's got 42,000 miles on it. I may be driving it to Roundup. We'll see what happens. But came with a factory hardtop as well. Manufacture date was 489.
It's a good thing
Oh,
she
wow.
didn't do any wallpaper in that. Do wallpaper all over it.
No.
So is in the show that you guys are going to have, or the roundup that you're going to have, so you're going to have all the way from first gen all the way to current gen, correct? Will you also
Yeah.
invite the Spider 124 people to show up?
All Miatas and Fiatas are invited.
Fiatas.
Ooh,
Oh, I like that.
Fiata,
A Fiata.
Takata.
Yeah, there'll be people there with everything. At this point, we've got better than 100 people registered. We'll probably end up somewhere in the 125 to 150 range. Probably 80, 90, 100 cars, depending. Every year it's a little bit different. New models come out, new modifications come out, superchargers, turbo kits, suspension kits. There's always something new.
So will you have some of those vendors out there? And does Mazda participate? Because we've done some of the Mazda road race stuff in the past when they were up at COTA. And boy, it's amazing how much support Mazda provides that crew of people.
Mazda typically provides quite a bit of support. When you're looking for help from Mazda regarding an event like this, they typically want better than a year's notice to provide some financial support, etc. Right now, we've got several dealerships that have kicked in on everything from door prizes to things, parts vouchers, things like that. So we'll have a good selection of door prizes that we'll give away. It's been a little bit harder to get real financing or financial help in due to the fact that most dealers aren't selling many cars right now.
Right.
So it's not in their budget to be quite as supportive as they would normally be.
And website would be MazdaRoundup.com.
Website is 2022 TX Miata Roundup .HoustonMiataClub.com.
God,
They
that's
can
a
go to the
lot.
Houston Miata Club website, HoustonMiataClub.com, and there's splashed all over the very front page is a link to go register.
Okay, I'll post that up on our social media for you as well. See if we can push you a little bit of traffic.
Well, Freddie, it's great to talk to you, my friend, and we wish you the best of luck. Sounds like a fun time up there in College Station, October 20th through the 23rd.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, take care.
You too. We'd love to hear from you. All you have to do is shoot us an email. That address, that hotline address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History. And Conrad always does such a fine job of putting together what used to be and it is no more.
In 1922, motorcycle enthusiast William Lyons and William Walmsley founded the Swallow Sidecar Company.
Swallow.
Swallow. So do you know who that is? William Lyons,
I don't.
founder of Jaguar. So Jaguar originally started
The
as
Jaguar Sidecar Company.
the Swallow Sidewar Company.
I understand that, but he was a.
They didn't intend building sidecars for motorcycles. They didn't intend to get into the automotive industry, but they did.
I didn't intend to be sitting here when I was 5 years old, but here I am.
So, and they ended up giving up their sidecar business for Jaguar.
And they still can't build that right.
Well, they can.
No, they
just-
can't. They can't. No, I've been dealing with the Jaguar issue
I
now
went there. I went
for
there.
for
I didn't mean
three months.
I didn't mean to pick that scab. In 1949, after being taken over by the British forces at the end of World War II, Volkswagen was handed back to the Federal Republic of Germany. Ford had an opportunity to take Volkswagen in and declined, so it was returned to
Way to
German
go.
control. In 1953, Continental Trailways offered the first transcontinental express bus service from New York to San Francisco.
Whatever happened to Continental buses? They used to be the cream of
I
the
think
crop.
I think they're still out there. I think they're still out there.
I saw a deal the other day with the Continental Bus Company that it was, I don't remember where I saw it. It was on television. And this was a Continental bus that, am I in your way? Oh, you're in mine. So they actually had a stewardess on board.
Oh,
They
yeah.
served lunch on board. First on bus
Serve liquor.
bathroom. Yeah, bathroom, just like it was an airplane. As a matter of fact, they hired airline attendants, stewardess is what we used to call them, to run this bus. And it was pretty amazing.
So back then, the bus ride from New York City to San Francisco took 88 hours and 50 minutes. The cost was only $57. Today, that same trip is actually only $185, which I think is a pretty good bargain considering how much it is for taking a plane for 4 hours.
Do you
versus
still have to
taking a
go
bus
through
for 88
TSA?
hours. Probably, I would assume so. In 1954, Ford had their answer out for the Corvette. In the Thunderbird began rolling off the assembly line in 1954 for the 1955 model year. While designed to compete with Chevrolet's Corvette sports car, the marketing for the Thunderbird was more of a personal luxury vehicle. And through all of its iterations from 55 on up to, when was the last one, 2006, 2007, they have built 4.4 million Thunderbirds. I didn't realize they had built that many of them. That's a lot. That's a lot of iron.
Not a big Thunderbird fan. Never have been. Tried to be, but it wasn't there for me.
In 1955, Ford Falcon was introduced as one of the early compact cars, but Plymouth Valiant had already been released.
Well, there's the future Mustang right there.
The look-alike.
No, but I mean, most of the components of the Ford Falcon were
Oh, very much so.
built into the 64 and a half.
Very much. The whole
Yeah.
underpins were.
Yeah.
And then in 1993, Chrysler Corporation introduced the Neon.
They sold a ton of those
They
things.
sold a ton of them, and actually sold some of them with pretty hot little turbo motor.
Yeah.
That was very well received
Yeah.
to lots of boost. They were a lot of people in the car culture would call them Skittles because they came in some pretty interesting colors, which Chrysler's got a history for some interesting colors. And then in 1994, the National Corvette Museum opened to the public in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And it's right.
Were you there
across-
when it opened?
No, I wasn't there when it opened, but I was there a few years later. And then, right across the street from Chevrolet Corvette production in Bowling Green, which has been there since 1981. The museum features a great collection of automotive memorabilia as well as history of Corvette. You can, an RPO, which is regular production option, you can get on your Corvette as museum delivery. And they'll deliver you the car. Have you ever been?
I've not. I want to go. I want to take the 01 up there and do the whole Corvette thing. You know, we had a Corvette contact at the museum, and she said, "Come on, we'll treat you right up here. Come on."
Well, go.
I know.
They
And
have big Corvette events there all the
I'd
time.
like to go in the fall.
Yeah, I've been
See the
there.
colors.
I've been there a number of times. The cool thing is, even though I've been there a number of times, now I haven't been since they had the collapse of the floor, but the displays are always changing. And then finally, in 1997, the airbag law goes into effect nationally, so you had to have both driver and passenger side airbags.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's this week in automotive history.
Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we've got some interesting things coming up for you. Jeff has more of his oddball stuff, this time 5 big rigs under $10,000. You know, what a great hobby that's got to be to get into something like that.
And that none of them will pass DOT for under $10,000.
These are little TLC. They're projects.
Projects, yeah, no, I'm sure that they are. Also, we're going to have Conrad's Car Clinic. It's all straight ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us this morning. Thank you so much. 10 grand for a big rig. You know, I'm hooked on this show called what is it called? A 401 Rescue 401.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't get enough of that show. So these guys have these.
It's remarkable what they do in the weather they do it.
It's a show that is done up in Canada, mainly on the highway 401, and the weather is horrendous. And these great big rigs. This is a very, very, very busy interstate in Canada, and lots of traffic. And the weather turns south, and they have all these wrecks, especially the big rigs, and they have an entire troop of competitive record drivers.
Oh, welcome to Houston.
Yeah.
But these are big rigs. These are the Super Duty, especially the rotators. I love the rotators, which is basically the boom off the back of the truck is not stationary. It can move 90 degrees.
It's like a turret.
180 degrees,
like
actually.
a
tank
like a
turret.
crane.
Yeah.
Well, it is a crane.
It is. But these trucks are massive. You know, I've never actually looked to see how much they cost. Well over $1 million, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure,
Yeah.
sure. You know, the odd thing about that too is when you watch what I'll call the operators, the drivers. These tend to be, my view, generally common men who are doing some extremely complex physics of moving that vehicle off of where it is. You know, the angles of the pole and stuff
Down the
to
hills,
make sure it doesn't go down the hill
upside
and drag
down.
the truck.
Exactly.
You know, that's some pretty complex math in their head that they're trying to do as they're doing all of that. Great show. I love the show.
They show how it's made. They actually about a year ago they did an episode of how they make one, and it takes over a year.
Really?
build them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, they're massive, and what they can do, and especially a big rig operator that knows his stuff. Wow, that's a talent.
Oh yeah.
You know, when I was working for Stan, he had a cargo container, one of those steel boxes that come off a cargo ship. He was using it to store stuff behind one of the buildings, and he was going to sell the building, and we needed to move that big cargo container. Well, it had to be pulled out from the back of this particular building, and it was a narrow driveway. So this guy had to get that big rig in position to be able to lift it up on top of the asphalt driveway and slide it across without tearing up the driveway now.
Oh, that's the
Slide
trick.
it across
That's
the
tricky.
driveway in a position where it could be pulled out on the driveway where
And
the
then up
other
onto
big
the
rig
truck.
can load it up onto it. And it was truly amazing to watch how he was able to connect this thing, not only from the top, but from the bottom to be able to slide it from the bottom. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can hook the cables up and all the different cables that are on the thing.
And using pulleys and watching how much load, because that's the thing interests me as well. Those guys are watching on some screen somewhere how much load is being
Yeah,
put
the capabilities
on
of the
cables,
cable.
and they know what the weight draw is of their system.
Okay.
Yeah, great show.
Well,
we need to get them on.
Yeah, we do. We should. Okay. Well, we got a special guest with us right now that has joined in the fray here on the In Will Time Car Talk Show. And his name is Richard Rawlings, and you may be familiar with him. Discovery Channel's Fast and Loud, Gas Monkey Garage. Richard, good morning to you.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Well,
Morning.
we're doing fine. How are things up there in Dallas?
I'm working on my second cup of coffee. I'm good to go.
That's good. You
Too early for beer?
I,
Absolutely not. But my wife hasn't gone to work out yet, so
I got you. Got you. You ready for the Cowboys game this weekend?
yeah, I guess we get to see Tom Brady here for the weekend. It
Yeah.
should be a good game.
Well, we're all looking forward to it as well. But we got news just a short while ago that somebody is selling off 25 of his vehicles. And I'm not familiar with the vehicles that you're selling, but because it's you and Gas Monkey Garage and knowing what you do up there, I'm going, this guy's got to have himself a really nice collection.
Well, we do. It's pretty diverse. It's about 28 vehicles, actually, is what it ended up being. And we've got motorcycles, early Fords, Mustangs, some pretty special one-owner type cars. It's a collection that I have curated over the last 15 years. And, what most people thought was, well, he's going to be selling all the cars he made. And it's like, no, as soon as I make a car, somebody buys it. They're gone. So there's actually not any cars in the collection that we actually made at Gas Monkey Garage. These are cars that tricked my trigger or it excited me over the years, and I just bought them and collected them. And now it's time to switcheroo and start over.
So are there a lot of green cars? Because we know you have a passion for the green color on some of
I
your
think
cars.
there's one or two, but there's not a lot. There's one green 68, one family-owned Mustang convertible in there, but there's a little bit of everything. I mean, if you can't find anything in this selection, then you're not really into it.
So tell me about this Zimmer Quicksilver. I'm not familiar with it.
The Zimmer Quicksilver is kind of like if Fiero and Corvette had a baby. And it's just it's a weird thing. It's a car that a guy believed he was going to make a whole bunch of and revolutionize the car industry, as many before him had. And it's only got 400 original miles on it, so it's basically a brand new car. And we bought it back, I don't know, a few years ago during a Make-A-Wish thing with a young gentleman out in Arizona. And so it's a pretty neat car. I like the way it looks. It's just that it's a Fiero, so you're very torn as to how you feel about it.
Yeah, and I assume that does it have a 4-cylinder engine in it, or have you hopped it up?
Nope, it's all original 4-cylinder.
Got it.
Have you got any?
You also have an Olds 442 for sale, I noticed.
That's a pretty neat resto rod, and it's really, really hyped up 455 with aluminum heads and a 6-speed manual and a really trick rear end. Beautiful car, shows well, drives well. It's really fast. It's a fun car to drive.
Are you going to have any regrets of selling off the personal vehicles? Any remorse after you sell them?
No, because I'm already starting to collect a new collection. So I'm already I'm really into right now 60s and 70s high performance cars, whether Porsche, Ferrari, Mercedes, Lambos, whatever from that era, and then I'm really wanting to dive deep into the 80s and 90s forgotten hot rods. Those were tumultuous times for the car industry, and they weren't putting out a lot of cars with a lot of horsepower, and it was all plastic bumpered cars and things that aren't lasting as long as the older stuff did. So I'm going to get into some of the higher horsepower IROC Z's and the Pontiac GTAs and some of the different cars of those eras.
And those cars that generation of 80s and 90s muscle hasn't really accelerated on the price point the way your other desire right now, the 60s and 70s Italian cars. Those are all generally pretty much on higher up on the price point than the 90s muscle.
Yeah, it's you got to look around though. You got to find the forgotten ones. Like the other day, on Bring a Trailer, actually about a month ago, I bought a 1973 Mercedes 280C coupe with a sunroof, and it might be the best one in existence. I mean, I knew it was nice when I was buying it, but when it got there, I was like, wow, this car is really nice. So we're going to be collecting some of those off the wall type stuff because you said it yourself. Some of this stuff is getting unbearably expensive.
Oh, yeah. And you have, watching what you have for sale and listening to you, you like an eclectic car. You're not into the common one that you see hundreds of. You want something that's not necessarily unusual or odd, but unusual and odd.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like to show up to the weekend car shows or bring people through the shop and have them go, what is that? Why do you have it? Well, let me tell you, this car snuck out of the factory with 420 horsepower and blah, 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 or what have you. So I do like, I don't want to be the guy in the long row of 911s. That's not me.
And I was watching the other day the story of the young gentleman that you had bid for the Quicksilver at that auction. That was a great story. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, I think he said it was Make-A-Wish, and
yes.
You got together to let this young gentleman buy a car at auction, and he's the one, I believe, selected the Quicksilver and did all the bidding on it. Is that correct?
He did. So that was a fun activity to be involved in, and we try to do a lot of giving back as much as we can here at Gas Monkey. We've got Gas Monkey Foundation, and we do quite a bit of good work with that.
So how's the cars going to be auctioned off? Is it all online or is it going to be in person? How are you going to do this?
Everything is on Bring a Trailer. I partnered with Bring a Trailer to do it, and this is something new for them and something that I kind of came up with. And so it's just like a normal Bring a Trailer auction where they go on and they stay on for 7 days. But in this instance, it's not just one car. It's all 29 items or 28 items. And they're going to all end on the same day, next Wednesday, the 14th. So they're live right now. People are bidding on them. There's spirited activity already. And then next Wednesday, starting at around noon, they'll start falling about 10 minutes after each other until they're all gone. And during that day, we're going to be having a little party at Gas Monkey. I'll be around all the cars, and we'll be live streaming, talking about the cars as they're coming up to end on the auction. I'm trying to get accredited, verified bidders that want to come to the shop, come there and be bidding live on their phone. So in theory, you could have, Craig 123 on the internet bidding, and Tony 123 is over here with his phone, and I'm having that interaction almost like you would at a live auction, and talking about the cars, where I get special things about them, talking to bidders, talking on the live stream, and just make a whole day activity out of it. I think it's a better way to sell a collection. I did the numbers, and if I had to take all these cars to one of the big auctions, we all know them, we don't have to name them, then I would have $1,000 a piece entry fees. I'd have $1,000 or more dollars a piece shipping fees. Then I'd be paying 12 or 14% seller's fees. So to sell the same amount of cars might cost me $200,000 or $300,000. Whereas doing it with Bring a Trailer, they're in my possession. They don't leave. There's no risk to the cars or anything else, and it might cost me $50,000 or $60,000. So it's a much better way to sell a single car or a collection.
So would you say if you had what you would call a feature car of your collection, would it be the Gene Winfield Roadster?
Absolutely. The King T is something that I really didn't want to get rid of, but if I'm selling, I decided I needed to sell most of everything I have. So I think that's one of the last really cool, iconic 60s hot rods that is still out there for sale. There's, most of them have been snatched up and they'll never come out of the collections. So that's a neat car, and it drives exceptionally well.
What made you decide to sell these cars at no reserve, Richard?
Well, being who I am and what have you, we talked internally with my team, and you're going to get backlash no matter what because of the negative nillies out there with their keyboards. But to me, I just said, you know what? If I'm out there touting my collaboration with Bring a Trailer, and I believe in their market as I do, and I believe in my cars as I do, there's no reason for me to put a reserve on them. They're going to do what I believe they'll do. And, so there's a few that are straggling right now. They'll probably get some disco, closer to the end of the auction. Most of them are doing very well. And, we'll do the tail of the tape. That's what's really cool too, is because of the show and also what we do on YouTube. Most people know what I have in these cars or can go find it on the net. So we're going to put a tail of the tape up there, and I'm going to show everybody the math when it's over with, and let everybody see, how long I had them, what I put into them, and what I got out of them. So there'll be a few that'll probably lose. I guess in the car industry, we call that averaging out.
Yeah. Well, and you've got a 93 Toyota Supra as well, which is highly desirable in that market because that was such a cool little car.
It's a good-looking car.
And you don't see very many of them pop up for sale very often. Is that car modified or is that bone stock?
That car is bone stock, and it's a really, really nice car. That one is actually one of only two that are being auctioned off that are not owned by myself. Those are on dealer consignment.
Okay.
And, so I'm pretty excited there, but I actually bought the Toyota Supra last weekend at the Worldwide sale up in Auburn, Indiana, right-hand drive, silver, black interior, 94 model that's just arrived at the shop. So we put one of those into the new collection, so to speak.
So selling off the old one to fund buying a new collection, just kind of rotating your cars in and out.
That's what it's about.
I mean, it's part of the fun. I'm going to miss some of them, but at the end of the day, I'll get to go out and purchase some more.
Richard, do you have a daily driver?
Technically, I got a TRX pickup that I drive. But when the weather's nice, I pretty much drive whatever's laying around the shop. As you know, summer here in Texas can be pretty damn hot. So we need a car with a good air conditioner. But once October comes, I'll probably just drive whatever.
I want to say it. Get you some of that.
Get you some of that. And I got to tell you guys and all the listeners and viewers out there, we've actually gained a lot of traction since we left Discovery in 2019. Cable is very, very dead. And we live in the YouTube right now. We put a new show out every Monday evening, and we get more viewers and more followers watching our show on YouTube under Gas Monkey Garage than Discovery can get on a Monday prime time with a new episode.
Wow.
So we're up to, I think we're approaching 30 million followers worldwide now. And, it's just a lot of fun.
Well, we don't have 30 million, but
We're close.
Yeah,
We're close.
we certainly have gained a lot of traction on YouTube and all of our online stuff, and I think that we've done quite well. So we can relate, not to your level, but we can relate.
Oh, trust me, it's it's a be careful what you wish for. TV was really, really hard, and they beat me up pretty good for 9 years, and I'm glad to be kind of having fun and doing what we want to now.
So, do you have your own production company that does the video for you?
I've got an in-house team, yes, that does everything. I call them the millennials because they're all like 23 and 4 years old.
We're familiar with that, yeah.
Yeah, they know how to work all that stuff. You know, I'm 53 and I don't want to learn anymore. I'm just going to hang out and play with cars and drink beer.
There you go.
Well, Richard, it's great to talk to you and have you on the show again. I don't know whether many years ago we had you on at an auction that was up at Lake Conroe. I don't know whether you remember that or not, but had good times then. And best of luck to you today and this coming weeks as you approach your actual auction deadline here. So best of luck, man. Good to talk to you. Good to see you.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you, guys. Send everybody to gasmonkeygarage.com. Tell them to check it out.
You got
bet.
it. Thanks again.
Huh.
Cool. That was cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Was kind of worried
that we wouldn't get on. Well, he's got, you go on to bring a trailer and plug in a Gas Monkey Garage, and it'll bring up all of the cars up for auction. Some pretty good, pretty nice cars, and nothing from the show. Absolutely nothing from the show. Yeah. But he's got an older 928S on there. The Gene Winfield car is just gorgeous. Kind of this light pinkish purple color car. Very, very cool. And he has had Winfield has come and driven the car there and probably has the signature on the car. Yeah.
Okay, time now for the racing calendar. Racing is, believe it or not, beginning to head toward the playoffs or wind down.
Maple Grove Raceway is this weekend for NHRA. And then there's ZMAX Raceway in Charlotte next weekend. NASCAR is in Kansas this weekend. Oh, excuse me, Maple Grove is next weekend. Not this weekend.
I was disappointed in last week's.
Yeah. Well, Erica went out semifinals.
But the others.
And then NASCAR is in Kansas this weekend, in Bristol next weekend, Texas the weekend after that. So on 925, NASCAR will be up in Texas, and this is all part of the NASCAR playoffs. We know, Jeff. Formula One, we know, Jeff. They're at Monza in Italy this weekend, and they've already gone through qualifying and stuff. They're in Singapore next weekend. October 2nd.
Did you read this before you actually?
3 or 4 times, I just don't remember it. And then October 9th, the Japanese Grand Prix, and then October 23rd, they'll be at Circuit of the Americas out in Austin. So F1's coming up.
Right in the paddock.
Yeah, helping Hamilton. And then October 1st, IMSA's having their finale at Road Atlanta, and then this weekend, IndyCar are having their finale at Laguna Seca.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a feature that I've been waiting for all week long. I found out that this is actually going to come to fruition this weekend, and that is Jeff Seekins' 5 big rigs for under $10,000.
Yeah, 5 semi-trucks.
Do they actually run?
Well, I want to say yes. I haven't driven it.
He wants to say yes. He's not sure.
But you're going to need a little TLC. You're going to be a little, going to have to find a partner there. So, here we go. Ready, Conrad? So, semi-trucks are one of the most expensive vehicles on the market. You can't blame them for being that because they're durable.
That's not under $10,000
That vehicle
truck.
is under 10 grand.
Oh, no, stop, go back.
Yeah, we're going to go back. Here, hold on. Let me fix that for you real quick for just a second.
Oh, 2 people pushing buttons.
Yeah,
I'll
we
leave it
can't
up.
do that. Let's just back
But yeah,
this up.
that it's amazing what was originally probably a $150,000 truck.
More than that.
How quickly they decline in value.
Right. So this one that you're seeing right here is a 2016 Kenworth T680 6x4 TA sleeper truck tractor. Now, Mike, a TA means tandem axle.
No, it does
Oh,
not.
I thought
Whose
T-
world are you
TNA
living
would
in,
be-
buddy? That ain't
Oh,
Oh, it's just
TNA.
TA, not TNA.
Oh, I know. It's
Doesn't mean
TNA.
Trans
Yeah,
Am.
tandem axle. Not a Pontiac. Okay, this semi-truck by Kenworth has a 38,000-pound front axle and a 38,000-pound rear, 12,000-pound front
Go to
axle.
Kardashian.
It's
It's
a
the
3
Kardashian version.
Well, they're going to even get any better. So 3.07
There we go,
to
back.
1 axle ratio, 50,000-pound gross vehicle weight. It's made of aluminum, and therefore it lasts a long time. Its air ride suspension sits on a 234-inch wheelbase.
Ooh.
Under $10,000.
Yep.
Doesn't look bad.
I was
There
going
you
to
go.
say they washed it up for this particular
This
show.
next one is a 2015 Freightliner Cascadia. It's a 125 6x4. Again, Mike, TA sleeper tractor truck tractor.
So it's only 7 years old.
Mhm. That's right. The engine of this 2015, it's a 125. It's a powerful as a 505 horsepower diesel engine. It's a Detroit DD15 6-cylinder.
We don't know what any of that is.
Well, I do.
He's from
14.8
Detroit.
liter.
He's
Yeah.
so full of crap.
So my eyes are brown.
So what was the price of this brand new?
You're probably looking at a couple $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get into that here in just a little bit.
How
But
quickly
let's
they
see.
the front
Yeah, I was
axle is
gonna say.
12,350. The rear is 40,000 and a 52,350 pound
I don't.
gross.
I don't
How many
know what-
miles
wait.
are on it?
We'll get there. I want to go to the next one. This one is a 2014 Western Star 4700 SF 6x4 TA day cab truck tractor.
Day cab.
Day cab.
Okay.
So,
No sleeper.
No
yeah.
sleeper.
No,
Day cab.
Day cab. Western Star Truck Sales. That's where this one's at. It's a truck manufacturer in Portland, Oregon. The 2014 Star Day Cab truck, very powerful, low sulfur diesel engine. Again, it's a 12.8 liter cruise control, engine brake, and air conditioning. It works fine. It's a daily driver.
Uh-huh.
Engine
Yep.
brake. That's the thing that wakes everybody up.
I think they're great. We should put those on vehicles today.
You can get them on GM
Yeah,
diesels.
you
Go
can.
ahead,
The
please.
next one is a 2014 Freightliner. Again, it's a Cascadia. It's a 113 6x2.
I like it red.
Yeah. This one has a 10-speed
Soar.
manual transmission. This one it covers 911,746 miles on
Just
this.
broke in.
It has 28,530 hours on the engine.
Oh my God.
It's a air ride cab, bunk beds, 72-inch high-rise sleeper cab. It's idle-free auxiliary power unit, so you can just turn everything off and have it run still. And it's a super singles rear tires.
Super singles.
They're wide.
Yeah.
They're wide tires. Yep. There
Okay.
you go. Okay. And
Again,
the last
Some
Under 10.
Kardashians.
Don,
Under
Don
10
we
grand.
could park one of these
No,
right
hell
out
no.
here.
Go ahead.
But if you notice this one needs a little bit of repair. This one needs a little TLC. This little cream puff is a 2014 Volvo.
Sounds like clotted cream.
It's a VNL 64T 6x4 TA sleeper truck tractor.
You know, this is what you need, sir. This is what you
burn
need.
up them engines, buddy.
I know. You go through engines
Yeah.
right and left.
This one's made by Volvo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Swedish truck manufacturer.
Yes, they are.
Headquarters in Gothenburg.
Okay.
Very good.
Well.
Sleeper truck. It's got
It's
the
in Gotham
400
City.
horsepower, so on and so on. And it's got the same dimensions on a 187-inch wheelbase.
Well, I mean, these are all under $10,000. But the thing's got over almost a million miles on it.
28,000 hours on the engine. So this moving. The folks that had more, they were on the road.
I bet it needs a set of ball joints at this point.
Well, you never know how good the maintenance was. Like I talk about all the time, keeping up on your maintenance is going to make your vehicle last longer. They had to keep up on the maintenance of these trucks to a degree.
I would imagine that a million miles is not on the engine. It's probably been rebuilt.
No, maybe not. Not on some of those big Cummins 12 liters, 15 liters.
Some of these are 6, 7 years old. They're not that old. They're younger than some of the vehicles.
Yeah. But they're driven 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hey everybody, the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on the iHeart app, Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcast available for your favorite podcast channel. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
I don't even know what to say anymore. It's an Amber Alert. Don's missing. Has anybody seen Don?
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show that I have nothing to do with.
I guess that would be a silver alert.
More interesting silver alert.
Well,
We're all here.
More interesting car talk and noises from afar.
Conrad is going to be coming up with the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and this week's automotive news.
Tommy, along with.
Never mind. I'm not even going to say who we are because I'm embarrassed to say. We're just a figment of your imagination that you may or may not have heard of before, but we'll just go with it.
Studio echo bad now.
Oh my God. Well, hi. We're not here today. This is the Twilight Zone.
We're going to
rename the show. The Twilight Zone Car Show. One episode joining us right now. Fellow by the name of Dante Crispy, and I hope that, did I say your name?
No, it's Keespay, sorry.
Keespay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like how it sounds.
Oh, I know that. I got one of those.
Keespay.
I've got
See, when we book this stuff, nobody ever gives me any kind of pronunciation help, so I just kind of got to guess it. And,
Oh yeah,
and most of the
don't
time,
worry.
yeah.
The inside joke of the track is whenever it's a certain person announcing the the positions after the race.
Yeah,
He always says Crispy for my last name.
crispy. I like it.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, there is a donut shop called Krispy Kreme,
Yeah.
and we could somehow.
Maybe they
not
could be a
quite the same.
sponsor of your car.
there you
That's
go.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Dante Quispe with Krispy Kreme. I like it. It's got a ring to it. Well, hey man, thanks for joining us. From are you up there in Ontario?
Yeah, that is correct.
Very nice. So, do you know about the 401 Rescue 401?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's where they have big, huge wreckers up there that they pull big rigs out of the ditch when they got bad weather, and you have a lot of bad weather up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Well, but
saying
you're-
it's going to be. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, they're. I was just saying. They're saying it's going to be one of the worst winters for this area. So, those trucks are going to be out a lot. I'm pretty sure.
And then
Wow.
you're going to head south to race somewhere.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
So here is the Mo Sport Karting Center champion right here. Am I right?
No, I'm a contender for the championship.
But no, let's just be
Yeah,
positive
we've
here
already
and say
given
that
it
you're
to you.
the.
There you go.
See, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, it's
But-
really good to talk to you, and because we like youngsters,
Mhm.
and you might not feel like a youngster, but at 16 years old, you don't even want to know what I was doing at 16. But
You don't want to know what he's doing now.
No,
Because
but
he can't remember.
But we've talked to a lot of guys that started where he's at,
right.
Right.
and so we're going to talk to somebody that's actually there now.
And you look at the history of some of the top line drivers today who all came out of the karting program.
right.
You know, Alec Udell come out of karting. He drives the sports cars here in the States. Bunch of the F1 guys came out of karting and all drove against each other as karting. And I understand that's kind of your desire is to head open wheel racing. Is that correct?
That is correct.
so how long have you been into karting?
Believe it or not, last year was my rookie year.
No,
way. Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah,
Well-
so I had a very successful rookie year. On my first race, I placed third on the podium against some of the best people in that karting series I've ever met, and ever since then, I finished that season really strongly. I placed top 5 in the championship, and that's where I would consecutively place per race. I finished with 2 wins and then 2 additional podiums to that. So it was a really good first rookie season for me. It really boosted my morale, you could say, because this was my first time transferring from, always playing the racing games, like the racing video games, or doing the esports stuff on iRacing. And I just finally managed to transfer over. And it was such a success that after managing to put my name out there to a few teams, I ended off the season with 13 different offers to race in various Formula 4 series around the world.
Wow.
So
Very
you
good.
you were taught online, or did you have somebody teach you in a reality go-kart?
No, I've taught myself. So I've been racing. I don't even know how long. Like my when I was a baby, my parents always told me, the Cars movie
Yes.
from Pixar. Yeah, that was always playing.
Wow. It sounds like you're an aggressive driver then. You're
Yeah,
taking all these guys out.
well, not taking them out, but
Finishing ahead of them.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
you did find that simulator driving does translate well to sitting in the car driving, or sitting in the
it
car.
really does to an extent. Like, there's only so much you can learn. Well, with the setup I currently have, like I find that I can learn more about a track, and it depends how well the track is laser scanned onto the actual like racing game or racing simulator, because that will depend on your performance in real life.
So your
Like-
seat and everything has road feedback. So if there's cracks in the roads, if it's been scanned properly, you're going to feel that in the seat or the chassis of
Yeah.
the seat that you're riding in your
Exactly.
simulator. So this isn't just some small
Video
little
game.
hand video game
No,
thing.
no,
You're
no.
sitting in a full sim.
Simulator.
How many screens do you have on your sim?
I currently only have one.
Okay.
But I'm working on getting more. I feel like it's gonna better my understanding. I also do have this VR, the Oculus Quest 2.
Ah.
I've been using that with things like, especially Assetto Corsa. It runs so well with it. So I've just been using it on stuff like that to give me a more real feel of that I'm actually in the car, and then how I can look for things such as braking points and how to hit my apexes and turns. I feel like it's been helping me, especially like if I'm practicing in an open wheel car. I already have that feeling, so that when I go for testing, I know what to kind of look for already.
So you say you're self-taught on this, and you're doing very well with what you have there. Do you have any ambitions to maybe go to a driving school?
I do, yeah. So that is the step. So to get my international license, so I can actually race in the States from Canada, I have to have a driving school certificate. So the best way for me to do that is to finish up my Ontario license, so that already allows me to pass a racing school. So I get that certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be eligible for my Ontario license after.
So who is it? Who is it that's toting you around to these racetracks in a go-kart?
It's my parents.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're behind you all the way on this.
Yes. They can't really support me financially all that much because we do have a large family, and karting is expensive as is racing. So it mainly comes from me. Like last year I was working, I don't know, like 40 hours a week at a 12-hour job. So like a $12 an hour job. So it wasn't the best, but I was pushing myself as much as I could to do it.
Yeah, but
And
with success should come some funding. That was last year.
Yeah.
This year, did you collect any sponsors?
Yeah, the place I worked, they sponsored me. That's the hat I'm wearing actually.
And they are.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got to pitch your sponsors. That's what they want
sorry.
you to do.
It's Yang's Chinese restaurant.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
In in Ottawa.
No, in Ontario.
Ontario.
So in Barrie.
Oh, very good.
Here in Barrie, this small town.
Very good.
But yeah, I've been working on getting a sponsorship with other companies that are local to the area, or national level companies such as Security Guard. That's one I've been working at. They're Canada's national provider for security guards. And they have a bunch of other like little companies that deal with security options under their belt. So I felt like that would be a very helpful sponsor to have. We're currently just in the talks with everything. So hopefully that all goes well.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I'm one of 6.
One of
Oh,
6.
okay.
I think I
And
heard
that's-
some younger ones out in the background back there.
So they
Oh yeah, they're upstairs.
do they
Upstairs.
do they pit crew for you or anything, or you got them involved with
Oh,
your?
I
Racing?
wish. I wish. No. My younger brother, he's not one for racing. My youngest sister, she's taking an interest to it. My older brother, him and I are very close in sense of like a business / sporting mentality. So whenever I'm there, he's there to pick me up, remotivate me, make sure I'm focused on my goal.
Slap you
And I
around a
do
little
that.
bit.
There
That's
you
what
go.
Yeah.
older
Yeah,
brothers do.
Exactly.
Hey, get it together.
Yeah,
Couple of
yeah,
swirlies.
exactly like that.
There you go.
Because I've made a lot of friends at the track, and a lot of them I do race against. But on the track, you have no friends. It's that kind of situation,
right.
right? We're all very talented. I find. Well, the top 3 of us, because we're always at least a few seconds ahead of the field, if not more.
And 4 through the rest, they're losers.
He didn't say that.
Just
I
saying.
did it. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
We know what you're talking
See,
about.
all we are is a bunch of
Yeah.
big kids down here,
Yeah.
too, so don't worry about us. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So, how big is kart racing in Canada? What is the season considering the weather there? You start a little bit later in the year and you end a little bit earlier in the year. What is the
Yeah.
season up there?
So, really, it depends on how the summer starts. Like how the snowfall just tends to disappear. When in-track temps come back, that's usually when we start. So this year we started in June, so the beginning of summer, and we're ending October, like the end of October.
Oh, that's still a good season. So, in the off season, do you do snow machines?
Snow machines? No.
Oh.
I mean, like I don't do any racing in the off season. What I will be doing is mainly my sim training. I'll be working out to keep in shape. And what I'll be doing is I like going on runs in the middle of winter because it just puts that added strain onto my legs. And I feel like that helps more. So that's what I've been doing during my off seasons is when I'm not on the sim and training, I'm either out on a run, I'm working out, or I'm trying to set up other kinds of deals in terms of a sponsorship or how I'm here on this talk show.
Where are you in high school? Are you a junior?
No, I'm in grade 11, so I'm almost done.
Okay.
So I have one more year after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
down
do you,
here, that would be a junior. Yeah.
do you have your own car being at 16 or not?
No, I don't have. So in Ontario, how it works is you have to have your G2. So when I turn 17, I'll be eligible for my G2
Okay.
because I've had my learner's permit for a year then.
Even though you've got thousands of miles behind the wheel of something and really understand the dynamics and looking forward and paying attention to what other people are doing, you still don't have the
Well,
right
they don't
to
have a turn
driver's
indicator
license.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
So
turn indicator.
what is your planned progression from karting? I think you said Formula Ford. What are the
Yeah.
next couple of steps for you as you go forward?
So in my research, I found that the Formula 4 championship, if you actually do end up winning that championship, you'll have a sponsored season in Formula Regional, which is almost like a Formula 3 in the United States still. And so from there is where I'm aiming to go. And then if you win that championship, there's a sponsorship program held by Honda that will send you to Super Formula from there, and you'll become things like a Honda ambassador, and you'll get signed by Bell, the helmet company, as an athlete for them for the year, I believe. So all from there, really. As long as I can get into this Formula 4 season sometime soon, and I start racing, I have no doubt that I won't be successful in it. I have all the feel that I can bring the level of aggression and my skill traits to the sport, no problem.
And he's smart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I couldn't hold a candle to you back when I was 16. There's no doubt about that. Congratulations, man. You're headed in the right direction, and we hope you'll take us along with you as you make your way up. Are you an ice skater?
I mean, sometimes.
You don't play hockey?
No.
No. Okay.
How are you? How are the you say you're in 11th grade? How are your peers in school think of what you do?
Oh, some of them care, some of them don't.
You're not a celebrity there?
No, I don't really care to be, in amongst that party. A lot of people my age I find aren't really in the right mindset.
He's going to wait for his celebrity status when he's driving for
when
Red
he's done
Bull,
with the show.
Yeah, he's
for
saving
Red Bull
it,
and
yeah.
F1
He's going to get all kinds of calls. after
He's
this
still
interview.
practicing his autograph.
There you go.
and his humility.
No, it's nothing like that. I'm not holding it back. It's just I have no reason to feel like a celebrity at school. Amongst those people, I don't really look up to any of them because they're in the mindset of they want to work to get money, but they want to use that money to go spend their weekends partying or whatever day partying. Or
we
It
do.
sounds like
Oh,
that's
yeah, well,
us.
that's, yeah. That's us. When we were 16.
17,
16,
80,
about 70.
58.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You're young. That's what people expect you to do. But like in terms for me, I'm trying to make it somewhere in a sport that you want to be in requires you to be in it so young. Now I have all that catch up to play for,
And
So-
your expense is about to go way up from karting to Formula
Exactly.
4.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly.
karting, you guys were hauling around the carts in maybe a pickup truck and a small bumper
Trailer,
hitch
yeah.
trailer. Formula, when you go Formula 4, you're talking about
Private jets.
but
Private jet.
a much bigger trailer, possibly a tractor trailer, to carry
Yeah.
the car and all the parts and toolboxes and stuff to go with it.
Well, it sounds
It all
really,
also-
yeah, it sounds tremendously exciting. Man, wouldn't you have loved to have that opportunity? So what do your parents think about your ambitions? They behind you?
Yeah, my father is a big Formula One fanatic with me. he really just put that car perspective into my head. You know, my mom's always been the fast, crazy driver. My dad was like that.
Oh, I know that well.
Yeah, when he was younger. But you know, he's just more mellow now. He just takes his time with working on the car rather than driving it.
So have you had a chance to go to the F1 race in Canada yet?
No, I haven't. I wanted to go this year, but it ended up on one of my race weekends, and we were looking for tickets way too late, honestly.
Yeah.
So we would have probably been in the parking lot.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. It's been great talking to you. Does Mom make the bologna sandwiches for you?
No, that's me.
That's you. You make the bologna sandwiches.
Hey,
there you go. Well, we know
all
how
the way
that,
down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah,
here.
we know how that works.
Yeah.
Dante, it's great to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It was
thank
nice to
you.
be here.
And
We wish you great success.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
be sure and stay in touch with us. We'd love to follow you. Do you have a fan page that we can subscribe to?
Not a fan page, but you can follow my main Instagram. Anything that's related to racing or myself, I post there. You can find anything about me there, really.
Yeah, but
or
it's listed a little differently for Instagram, isn't it? Is that the Dante or Dante?
It's at Dante Quisp, so it's my last name without the E.
Yeah, and you had sent me the email, Dante, and I forwarded that to Mike. So we're glad that you did that, and
Made the connection.
keep in touch with me on that, or Mike as well, and we'll follow you closely.
And good luck on getting your license and your American license as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take care. We'll talk to you again
You
soon.
as well.
You know, we need to get in touch with Alan. Well, they offer. Remember, he was doing driving instruction for Kelly Moss Racing. I don't know if he's still involved with Kelly Moss Racing or not, but I know they were doing driver instruction. I know he still does driver instruction because you hear him talk about it.
So
we need to make that connection. Sure.
Okay.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. Our address here is info@infotime.com. Time now for CarMax Car Clinic. What do we Car Clinic? Well, does your headlights on your car have cataracts?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, you ever notice how, the driving at night and you don't get as much brightness coming out of the headlights can be pretty dangerous. The sun, rain, and road conditions may have taken their toll on the acrylic headlights that they use on today's cars. Years past, you had the sealed beam, which was all glass, and then they went with these aerodynamic acrylic covers over the headlight bulbs. And as you watch them as they age, they get kind of grayish, then kind of yellowish, and then kind of you can't see much through them. And some cars are way worse than others, but what makes the headlights cloudy? First is oxidation. There's acrylic layers in the headlights that oxidize, and when they do, they kind of crack. And if you did a cross section of it, it would kind of look like a bunch of stacked pancakes, for lack of a better phrase. And as that happens, as those cracks happen, it fills up with the dirt and debris. So now that's what adds the discoloration, the haziness to it, and that diffuses the light as it comes out. Other damage can happen to the headlights as debris. You're taking rock, gravel, salt, road salt, and everything else that can hit the headlight, cause little pits that again diffuses the light. And then just general dirt and chemicals, leaving that layer of gunk on the headlights over time can sometimes etch into the headlight, kind of like stuff etches into the paint of your car. You've got a black car, you know how important it is to dry it off properly, otherwise it'll etch the paint. So, what can you do to keep your headlights from turning yellow? Park your car in the shade, park it in a garage so it doesn't spend as much time. Wash your car frequently, making sure you spend time to wash the headlights properly. You use the soap and detergent, get all that junk off of the headlights, and that'll help keep them from fogging. Polish the headlights with a non-abrasive polish or a good microfiber cloth to make sure you're getting everything clean and smooth.
Well, they make those kits
that actually clears up the lens and then they put a polish over the top. There are some good professional headlight restoration products that are out there, and any of the good products are going to have you sand down the headlight. BG, we offer a very good one. And literally, you sand down the acrylic of the headlight, so you sand all the way through those layers of corroded stuff, and then you use a finer sandpaper, and then when you're done with that, you spray it with a UV protectant coating that clears it up, makes it look like glass.
I have visions of me at Richardson Chevrolet with that bumper on that white thing, and right down to the gang climber on the damn car, off to the paint shop.
Well, yeah, our kit is all hand sanded. It doesn't take too long. I can do 2 headlights in less than a half hour. When you look at some of those headlights that are out there, cars that are relatively popular, Mustangs, Chevrolet pickup trucks, a lot of Mercedes, and a lot of Hondas and stuff. Those headlights can be $150 a piece, or can be up north of $1,000 a piece. And depending on what brand it is as to how expensive it is. So you spend you buy a good kit, maybe you spend $50-60 buying a good kit, or you get somebody to do it for you, and maybe you're spending $150 to get somebody to do it, shop to do it for you. And it can definitely restore those headlights done correctly as good as new.
In his shop, actually, his shop, Alexis, he told me that you got a fender bender, and they notice that the headlights are fogged up, but not involved in the accident. They will do that as a courtesy.
Okay.
Clean their courtesy shop.
Speaking of Lexus, Toyota reached a settlement potentially worth $150 million to resolve U.S. class action litigation tied to recalls of about 3.36 million Toyota and Lexus vehicles whose defective fuel pumps could stall engines. Settlement covers owners and lessees, of dozens of Toyota and Lexus vehicle models manufactured from 2013 through 2020. That's a lot. Equipped with the Denso low-pressure fuel pumps, drivers complained that defective pumps cause vehicles to run rough, lose engine power, and stall, especially at low speeds. Toyota said problems were reported more often in the southern U.S., where weather is warmer. More than 5.8 million vehicles worldwide were recalled in 2021 over the defect. Law firms representing plaintiffs may seek up to $28.5 million for legal fees. Reaching settlement, of course,
the lawyers are going to make all the money, and the members of the class action get 38 cents.
U.S. light vehicle sales rose for the first time in more than a year last month, an indication that market conditions are improving, though not for every brand. Industry-wide, Ford said light vehicle deliveries rose 4.8% in August, which would mark the first monthly year-over-year gain since December of 21. LMC reported total light vehicle sales rose 4% to 1.13 billion. So that means to me
availability is increasing.
Correct. The factories are actually cranking out vehicles once again, and slowly but surely we're going to start seeing vehicles available on the lot.
And that's probably more manufacturer specific, because I see a lot of cars on the Kia and Hyundai and Chevrolet lots, but the Honda lots are still there.
Cox Automotive said Thursday that wholesale prices declined 4% in August compared with July regarding used vehicles. But wholesale prices remain elevated year-over-year, and they were 8.4% higher in August than the year-earlier period. So still up there, but at least they plateaued and started to come down just a bit. Average wholesale prices for 3-year-old vehicles, the largest model cohort, Manheim's auctions, fell 2.5% during the last 4 weeks.
That's actually significant.
It is.
When you think about a guy who's got, I'll go to Emmons Autoplex, they've got, say they have $10 million worth of vehicles in inventory, that 2.5 adjustment is $250,000.
Yeah. So for them overall, yes. Well, how that drills down each vehicle depends on the price.
Right. But on average, if that can be quite costly.
Their price are fairly good price.
Oh yeah, and a good selection.
So coming up in our next segment, we're going to have a couple of guests. Mr. Marsh has been working a lot on guests this week, but I don't know about the technical aspect of the show today. I just thought I would throw that out there. And then later on, Jack Erad from the left coast is going to join us. It's always good. By the way, I saw the price of gasoline this week down to
below $3 a gallon for the first time.
Yeah, so $2.99 driving in. I was quite surprised.
All right,
time out for a quick break. You are on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Oh, there. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Loopy's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In-Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In-Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In-Wheel Time Car Talk.
Guess what? It's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We don't like to tell everybody about it, but some folks do. That would be you. Thank you for joining us, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. King Conrad DeLong, and more Jeff Seekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us. It's been an interesting morning here, technically, I think. I don't know. I hear old people tones coming through. They're lost on the side of the bayou and wandering around with their dogs and stuff like that. And there's an echo. So we apologize for the echo.
We can still subscribe.
Subscribe to
Oh, Lord. All right. So looking on our next guest this morning is Chris Pichet. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
So Chris is a computer scientist and technology entrepreneur and is now the CEO, founder of Smarter AIs. Is that correct?
That's right.
So tell me, first of all, just so everybody's on the same page, what are we talking about AIs?
So AI stands for artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And at Smarter AI, we make a software platform for AI cameras. So that means cameras that can see and listen and understand what's happening around them. And one of the applications of our cameras is in vehicles.
And is that, as you're putting these in vehicles, is the plan to collect data or integrate with the vehicle safety system, or both?
Both. So initially, the number one driver for installing AI cameras today is for driver and driving safety. So think about problems like texting and driving. Think about lane drift, those sorts of problems. And an AI camera system can help to remind drivers to pay attention, keep it between the lines. And then also over time, we can, as the system grows and we collect more data, we can use this for improving both the operation of transportation systems today and planning better transportation systems tomorrow.
So none of this is a recording system for crashes or something, correct?
Well, one of the features is exoneration. So again, we make a software platform. So you can think of it as kind of like the Android or iOS operating system that we all have in our smartphones. And in the same way that all of us can, configure our smartphones, turn different features on or off, some of our customers may choose to record what we call inertial events. So think about collisions or near collisions or other harsh driving events. And other customers may choose not to record or retain those recordings.
And the data you're recording, including I'm assuming the video of what the camera is watching, is that recorded at your not your location, but within your world, or is it shared with the auto manufacturer, or is it shared with police and fire?
So the data, including but not limited to the video data, that can be recorded on the cameras, that can be recorded in our cloud, and it can also be exported to third-party systems. But whether or not the data gets exported to third-party systems, that's up to each customer, to do with the data as they please.
And so that data, so you're also collecting serial data on the vehicle.
We collect audio and video data. We collect any sensor data, for sensors that are built into the camera. So, for example, a lot of cameras have a GPS sensor, an accelerometer, and we also have the ability to connect to what's called a CAN bus. So the vehicle's computer network.
Yeah,
and we can understand things like engine RPMs.
Well, some of the things you can look at is how fast the vehicle was going, where the brakes applied, was a steering wheel, was a vehicle in yaw, all of those things to understand the vehicle dynamics, not just the visuals of what you see on the camera.
So do you provide that information to, say, like a trial in a court system, or are you an expert witness in some of these things? Have you ever done that?
Well, I haven't been an expert witness yet, but we do provide this data to our customers. Again, what our customers do with that data is up to them. In general, our customers are using this data to increase transportation safety. So to be proactive rather than reactive. Hopefully, not to end up in a situation where they're in court and they need an expert witness, but rather instead to identify driving habits that could potentially lead to a collision in a court case.
There you go.
So,
but then to correct it before you actually have a collision. One interesting thing that we see from our vantage point is there are approximately 100 near collisions for every actual collision. And so by being able to understand when these near collisions are taking place and what the root cause or the circumstances that led to the near collision. This is important data that our customers can use to increase, their road safety.
I see that this is really geared toward a commercial application where, say, for instance, an Amazon would buy your system to keep a track of not only their vehicle, but their drivers.
Yeah, that's right. So our target market is commercial vehicle fleets, both in the public and private sector. So you're exactly right.
Yeah. So in other words, if, Don Armstrong Plumbing Service has got, 50 vans loaded up with plumbing supplies and keep having this one guy get in all of these accidents, I can figure out pretty much what's going on, what he's doing or not doing.
So you blow up the bathroom.
Hopefully we're gonna find a few near accidents before he has an accident.
Yep.
And we're going to help Don to get his plumbing drivers, driving a little more safely.
Yeah. So, do you supply the equipment and the software?
Yeah. So in the same way that with Android, you can buy a phone from Google. It's called a Pixel phone. It comes with the Android operating system. We do supply our own vehicle camera systems, or if a customer has already invested in a third-party camera system, our software can be integrated and deployed alongside an existing camera system.
So do you also have the customer, because it's interesting to me, sign some kind of a privacy agreement with you on the data that you're collecting? Because that data could be valuable on multiple levels. So how does the customer protect themselves from you?
Right. So you're absolutely right. We have a privacy policy that all of our customers have to agree to in order to use our platform and our cameras. And essentially the privacy policy guarantees the privacy of personally identifying information. So things that could, for example, link a driver to a car or identify a driver. But the policy does enable us to take data that we gather from our platform and our cameras and to use that data in its aggregate form in order to improve our system.
Fascinating. Well, I mean, it only makes sense. I think of many things that it would be applicable here. Can you drill it down to, say, for instance, if I've got my fleet of vehicles and Conrad works for me and he's driving one of the vans that I own at 100 miles an hour down the freeway quite frequently, and can I make it in such a way that he has to log into the vehicle basically, so I know that it's him and he's in the car behind the wheel, or do I have to keep track of that myself?
No, so our system can help you to keep track of that. So you can use. It depends on which camera you're using. Some cameras are equipped with RFID, so we can identify the driver using RFID. They can swipe a card or something like that.
Right.
Other cameras are equipped with facial recognition, and so we can just recognize Conrad, as being behind the wheel. And
so with that, you're not only doing external cameras, you're doing internal cameras that are watching the driver.
Or is it an option?
Well, that's an option. So we have many different camera form factors. They can be equipped with anywhere from 1 up to about 20 imagers.
Oh my gosh!
And so depending on the size of the vehicle, and again depending on the the nature of the vehicle, or the sort of application or use case that a customer has in mind, those imagers could include what we call cabin-facing imagers. So something that would have a driver or passengers or cargo within a field of view. And those imagers also include what we call road-facing imagers. And those imagers could be used to look at look in front of the car, look behind, or the vehicle, look behind the vehicle, look beside the vehicle for things like traffic signs, lane markers, other vehicles, pedestrians.
So have you done any integration with school districts yet?
No, we haven't. We haven't done any integrations with school districts, but we're just starting to move into the public sector. So, federal, state, and local government, and obviously one of the important, large and important vehicle categories in the public sector is school buses. We've done general purpose buses. So think about general purpose public transportation. But we haven't done school buses yet.
Again, the privacy issues would pop up on the school buses. But what a great opportunity it would be to really observe the driving habits of a bus driver and the nuts around the bus that aren't stopping for the stop sign, and then have some kind of reporting system built in to for people that are.
Do you see vehicle manufacturers, going in the direction of actually installing from the factory some sort of a camera system, both forward and reverse, so we can see what's going on inside the vehicle? Do you see that happening soon?
Oh, that's already happening today. So I think I'm on my 5th or 6th Tesla car, and they've already got. I'm not sure the exact number of imagers, but I think it's more than 10. They've got somewhere between 10 and 20 imagers in the car, including imagers that are pointed inside the cabin. And other manufacturers may not have rolled this out yet, but as I'm sure you guys know and the audience knows, the life cycle for designing a new vehicle is on the order of 5 years, and I can tell you. That all of the major vehicle manufacturers have systems like this, if not in production, under development.
And with that, the factory imagers and data, can your system integrate using the vehicle's already existing imagers?
Yeah, exactly. So we support both what we call aftermarket and OEM camera systems. So an aftermarket camera system would be like a dash cam or a bigger version of a dash cam with more imagers. And then an OEM camera system would be something that's built into the vehicle at the factory.
You've thought about this for a while, I have that feeling.
We've been working on this for about 4 years. So I founded Smarter AI about 4 years ago. And we first brought our product to market about 2 years ago. So we've been working both with end customers and different OEM and channel partners for about the last 2 years.
Chris, what is your background? How did you gain all of this knowledge? You're a smart guy, obviously.
Well, I'm originally from Canada. I grew up in the mean streets of Canada.
Do you know Dante?
No, he doesn't know Dante, okay. I don't think.
Anyway, I don't know Dante.
Go ahead.
I have a background in math and computer science, and before I got into camera systems, I was developing software platforms for communication systems. A couple of the more high-profile systems that I've developed. One north of the border in Canada was for a small Canadian company called BlackBerry. I developed all the voice and video calling software platform for BlackBerry smartphones. And down here south of the border, a few years ago, there was something that I'm sure you in the audience are familiar with called football on your phone. So I don't know if you remember, there was a series of TV commercials with the Manning brothers.
Yep.
And AT&T was rolling out, basically television programming on your mobile phone. And, I was involved in that product, and then I sort of graduated into cameras about 4 years ago.
So before we get too far gone, I've just been wondering, the cameras, the internal cameras that you put inside the car, the imagers, do you put them in the back seat?
It can be. So our software platform supports cameras with anywhere from 1 up to about 20 imagers. the reason why we support such a wide range of camera form factors or camera configurations is because of all the different sizes or categories of commercial vehicles that are out there. And so that certainly includes a back seat in a small or medium sized vehicle. And it could also include the entire cabin. Think about something like a bus where you've potentially got, 50 or 50 people or more in a bus.
Right. Or a limo. I was thinking about a limo also.
Sure.
You're probably thinking about something else that you can't even say right now. We know where this is going.
I was just wondering where I get
checking.
Where I get my BlackBerry fixed.
Yeah, get the BlackBerry.
Kind of broken. Right
well, Chris, we find this extremely interesting and brilliant, and congratulations on the success of your business. Where do we find more information about smarter AIs?
So you can find us on the web. Our website is smarterai.camera, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram under the same handle, smarterai.camera.
Chris, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Stay in touch. Let us know what's going on with your company.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll look forward to coming back.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chris Beach, founder of Smarter AI. Also,
he said he was with mathematics and computer science and I'm out.
Yeah. Way above our level. I was going to say, add all four of us up, we probably wouldn't even come up to his idea.
I'm not adding anything.
All right. Time now for the events calendar here at the Annual Time Car Talk Show. We got the events. Well, again, I'll mention it. Loopy Tortillas next weekend. Please come out and join us. We'll be out there broadcasting live. And we're going to have some gifts available this time, courtesy of Paint House, friends of ours, the Borcherdings, and they've donated some Brios products, some paint products, and not paint, but paint maintenance products. So some waxes and some cleaners and show polish and stuff. So yeah, come on out. We're going to have a nice goodie bag for the 3 winners. We'll probably have some other goodie bags available as well. So come on out to Tailpipes and Tacos next weekend. Grand Parkway in Kingsland on the Katy, just south of the Katy Freeway. We start at 8 a.m. and we go through 11. And we'll have 3 awards for best modern classic, and best hot rod. And other stuff going on. October 9th is Hot Rod Madness at the Rock Sports Bar off of Loretta. The Bug Off, September 30th in Navasota. October 15th, the VW Harvest in Leander, Texas, which is a little bit north of Austin. Lots of Volkswagen stuff going on. The Mustang Club of Houston's Fall Open Car Show is October 16th at Planet Ford, and they kind of clear a parking lot for them. Saturday, October 22nd is the Harvest Festival Car Show and Holiday Market out in New Territory. On the 22nd, the Katy Theater Fall Car Show, and all proceeds are going to go to supporting the Katy Theater. And then October 29th, Wings Over Houston, Guitars and Cars is going to be there.
Okay. Mars? Guess what time it is? It's howdy doody time, sir.
Yeah, so I had a chance to drive the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee
Summit Reserve 4XE.
That'd be 4xE, I think is the way.
Is that the way it is? 4xE?
Is it a TA?
No, I don't see that in here anywhere.
No, I think it's called a 4xE.
It is. It's a 4xE. It's one of those days. Anyway, this vehicle it's a new design for 2022. So this is considered the 5th generation. This is a mid-size SUV. It's actually it is the most awarded SUV. Comes at 5 trim levels, starting with the Laredo, Limited, Trailhawk, Overland, and the Summit. So the Summit's top of the line, but this is not a third-row vehicle. They have been really smart and kept the third row out of this mid-size SUV where other people have crammed it in there. If you want a Grand Cherokee with a third row, they have one available, but it is not this vehicle. So it's got a lot of updated styling on it. To me, it looks more luxury oriented than off-road. They've softened some of the lines on it. It's got a wider 7-slot grille up front with the automatic shutters on it, so that kind of help with the fuel economy. It's got a lower tapered roof on it. It helps with the profile. Again, that gives it a little more luxury to me than an off-road look to it. It is trail rated, so it'll go just about any place you want it to. Got LED lighting. It's got air suspension on it. It rolls on some 21-inch painted aluminum wheels, and it's got a ton of technology on the inside of it. Now, you're going to be sitting on Palermo leather seating whenever you get inside this vehicle. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The rear seats are also ventilated.
And that diamond tuck looks wonderful.
Looks great. It's got the new Uconnect 5 that's sitting on it comes in a 10.5-inch screen. The driver has a 10.25-inch digital display screen to work with. And that's where you're going to find all your surround view cameras, which work really good. You can select particular cameras. And there is one thing I thought was rather interesting, along with the HUD on it, that's 10.25. That takes up almost the whole windshield. But I was going through the pages, and it says no pass permissions. You know, that's a selection you can make. Well, it doesn't mean what you might think it means.
What do you think that I think it means?
Well, I thought no pass selections. That means I can figure out how to make nobody can pass me. But here I'm going down the freeway and people are still passing me.
Open your door. They won't pass.
He is from Neederville.
So I found out that there is a monitor, a 10-inch monitor, sitting over on the passenger screen. It's built into the dash, and it's black, and you don't hardly see it unless you really get to looking for it. And so you can sit there and tell it, they can't do anything, or you can tell it what you want and let them do. Also came with a 19-speaker Macintosh system with a 950-watt amp that the neighbors can hear whenever you decide you want to play it.
Boy, I'll tell you what, I could send some stuff over there on that screen that would have people clamoring to get out of the car.
Little Jimmy Buffett going on.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's what he was talking about. But we can talk about the 2.0-liter inline-4 turbo plug-in hybrid that's sitting up underneath the hood. 375 horsepower total, 470 pound-feet of torque, backed by an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, this is the same hybrid setup that you're going to find in the Wrangler, so they've just kind of got it finally into the Grand Cherokee. It says that you should get about 25 miles per gallon in the EV mode, and in the gas mode, the equivalent between the two of them is up around 56. Now, I drove it a total of 332.8 miles, 297.6 on gas, 35.2 on EV, because the regenerative brakes gave me a little bit more than the regular 25 that you get on it. But overall, for the combined thing, I got like 23 miles to the gallon. And I thought it was great. The only problem I have with this vehicle is the regenerative brakes. Whenever you let off the accelerator and the regenerative brakes go to pick up whenever you pull up to a red light or something like that, I mean, you feel it noticeably slow down. It's like you're dragging. And I always wonder, is it doing that when I'm trying to accelerate?
Well, I didn't have time to find all that. I was having trouble with the no pass permissions thing.
But it really ran good, and I like driving this vehicle. It's quiet, particularly in the EV mode. When you get out on the highway, it was a very easy drive. I've always liked the Grand Cherokee. This one with the electric motor, I can see this, which had a little more range on it, but by being a hybrid, I didn't have a problem driving it over here. Didn't bother me, no range anxiety or anything like that. But if it could go maybe 50 miles or something in the electric mode, that would be a lot better. But again, for somebody in town like my wife, watching her driving habits, it would. I mean, you might have to charge it every couple of days. She just doesn't put that many miles on it in town. So it's a great drive. You look at something compared to, I had a hard time comparing it. There's a lot of mid-size SUVs out there, a lot of them, but not all of them are trail rated, where you can have the off-road aspects to go with a really nice, what I consider is becoming a very luxury vehicle. So, I mean, you got the EV6 you talked about last week. You got the Caddy Lyriq, the Jaguar F-Pace. It just goes on. There's a big long list of them. But getting into one that's a true four-wheel drive, I had a problem finding one. So the base Grand Cherokee 4xe starts at $60,260. The base price is tested at $69,820, and the MSRP was a flat $79,000 for this vehicle. Great driver. I like driving that car.
They want to
remind you that the In Real Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeart Radio app. Are we on iHeart today? Yes. Are you talking to me? No.
We're not on iHeart.
Yes,
Yes, sir. There's a technical problem. Anyhow.
Well, we stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
We're there.
Podcasts are available at your fingertips. Your favorite podcast source if we're recording that. The In Real Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Real Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InRealTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.
Oops. I pooped my pants. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars. King Conrad along. We need more Jeff Deacon. I'm Don Armstrong. Disguised and proud of it. Disguised as Clark Kent. A file-man reporter.
No, what's Lois Lane?
I'm Lois Lane. Flying in his helicopter. Don's up in the air, calling in traffic. So did you happen to see the newscast story that I posted this week? No.
So the story was the female anchor on the television. I don't know what station it was, somewhere in the United States. She's describing that there was some sort of disturbance at the Home Depot, and the police were called. They were called there because of bombs. Did you not know?
Oh, yes. Now I did hear that.
Yeah, and it turned out that the guy said, well, I just went into the restroom and announced to everybody that I'm fixing to blow up the bathroom.
Not knowing it was Taco Bell was going to
reading this straight like, oh, this is serious went in there to blow up the battery.
Oh my God! It goes to show they can read well. They have no idea what you're saying, but they can read well. And then all of a sudden you hear off camera somebody laughing.
They switched cameras to her co-anchor.
It was absolutely.
Maybe he died.
He is in tears, and he apparently asked the producer to have her read the story instead of him. They pulled him on the hurt. That's pretty funny. Yes, I did, and I saw the video. So this is that deal go there.
Well, Mr. Morris,
so what's the story?
Well, Jack's still on his left ear. I'm trying to get him off his right ear.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Jack is sideways on the
Well,
video.
that's perfect.
Let's put Jack on the ear.
There you go.
There you go,
Much
lady.
better, Jack.
Look at you, all handsome and everything.
Horizontal, but now I'm vertical.
Now you're
There you
vertical.
go.
That's right.
Well, you're here though. You're not on your right ear anyway.
Okay, that's tough.
Ladies
Well,
and gentlemen,
Big time computer problems this morning, so I'm coming to you via my phone, but it seems to be working. So rock and roll.
well, you sound good.
Good.
Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I do, Don. If you were nice, that would be.
But you know me, Jack. That's not who I am.
Right. I got it.
So Jack Nerad is automotive contributor for Forbes.com, DrivingToday.com, AutoBytel.com, and CarAndDriver.com, and most importantly of all, radio host of the nationally syndicated program America on the Road, and our friend on the left coast.
You forgot he's a hell of a guy too.
He is a hell of a guy. Jack,
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, it's
Most of that is true, and I enjoy being with you guys immensely every time I do it.
well,
So,
you know, and well, we thank you for that because we thoroughly enjoy. How are things on the left coast?
it just got crazier, didn't it?
Yeah. So, are you going to have a brownout today and not be able to plug in your electric car?
Yeah. Well, that's the irony, right? I mean, they ban gasoline cars in 1 week, and then within 3 days or so, they say, well, we can't have you plug in your electric cars because we don't have enough electricity. Although we're experiencing the same weather that we always experience, they're trying to play it up like this is some, once in 1,000 years kind of weather that we're experiencing in California. So it's crazy times. It really is. And it's getting to be where you can't trust the news media to just deliver things like the weather without politicizing it. And it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
But they'll have enough power to light up those stadiums for tomorrow night's football games, right?
Thursday's game.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And they did for Thursday's game, right? And there's plenty of power for that. And I think they're trying to scare people into not using power. But, this is something that I think we're importing something like 40% of our power in California from other states. And that's unsustainable, right? At the same time, there's immense amounts of energy here in California that's not being used. So go figure.
Yeah. Well, I've had a couple of experiences since we last talked with electric cars, electric hybrid, a plug-in hybrid. But more importantly, I had an experience with the Kia EV6. Have you driven that yet?
I have, yeah. I've spent a lot of time in the EV6.
Did you like it?
I pretty much liked it. Yeah, I mean, I like all electrics in some ways, and then there's the things about them that frustrate you and make you go, well, I don't know that this would be for me, but I can see if you were using that as a second car, how you could make that work just fine.
Well, I guess the thing that I thought of, here it is, a Kia, which I classify Kia as not a bad car. I like Kias and I like Hyundais, the sister companies. I like them, but I consider them as a more mainstream, middle of the road
entry level.
Well, not even entry level in some cases. I mean, they got some really nice cars, but this car was $58,000. It just doesn't seem to fit for me.
That's the hilarious thing about these quote unquote entry level electric vehicles, because that's what the EV6 is. It's one of the least expensive. I just wrote a piece recently, the 10 least expensive EVs, and they're all 40,000 plus. Most of them are. The Chevy Bolt is not. The Nissan Leaf isn't. But then you hit a bunch of vehicles that are 40 or 50,000 plus, and you scratch your head and go, well, this can't be mainstream, because mainstream cars that people are struggling to buy are $25,000.
Yeah. Yeah, so it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I like the car, but again, I had charging issues. I don't have a 250 volt medium charger here, level 2. And so I went up to the Whole Foods up down the street from me a bit and went to plug it in. There was a guy with a brand spanking new Mustang Mach-E pulling up there, had no clue how to even plug it in. I said, well, you having problems? He says, yeah. I went over to the mall, which is right across the freeway, and all of the chargers over there were broken. None of them worked. So we wound up at Whole Foods. It had one hose on it to plug in. He was going to use that. I had no place to plug it in. And come to find out, after he was there for 5 or 10 minutes, that one didn't work either. There's another issue. Matter of fact, there's a story on Automotive News this week about that very issue. Like 36% of all of these chargers that are out there don't work.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a report on a JD Power study on that, and that's the biggest complaint that electric vehicles owners have is that they run into public charging that doesn't work. I mean, it's tough enough to find public charging, and then when you go there and it doesn't work, I mean, think if 36% of gas pumps didn't work, right? I mean, it just doesn't happen. If a gas pump is out of service, it's immediately reported and it's probably fixed within 24 hours. But nobody is attending a lot of these electric vehicle charging stations, and I think that's a big problem.
Well, I mean, we've talked about that before because, like, your service station there, that service station owner or whoever the franchise, he's going to call somebody to come and fix it because he's losing money. But there's nobody, like you say, there's no company, nobody's got a vested. They're not vested in it to go out there and have it fixed.
Well,
Walmart or the mall or whoever, they don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't bother them.
The gas stations, they're regulated by the Departments of Weights and Measures because there's a sticker when you're pumping your gas. You can read all that information on the pump. Who regulates the chargers?
Well, that's a good question. I think there is a regulatory agency for that.
Well, and I think part of the problem, too, is some of the chargers are operated by the government, and we know how efficient the government
is.
You funny guy.
Jennifer Granholm can't pedal fast enough to generate the electricity to charge a car.
Oh.
Well, so Jack, what is your what's the price of gasoline in California today? It's coming down here. We got $2.99 a gallon. Conrad and I saw.
To about $5.50. I just filled up my daughter's car. I think for that kind of cost at a big box store, and I think it's a little more expensive elsewhere. So it's still well over $5. It's a couple dollars more than we were paying as recently as about a year ago, 18 months ago. And that's crazy, right? I mean, it over $5 a gallon. You scratch your head and go, well, why is this that way?
Well,
I just spent in Texas actually, spending $3 a gallon or something like that. So it was a rude shock to get back here.
Well, it really shouldn't be a problem because y'all aren't going to be driving gasoline vehicles in a few years.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the untold story of that thing is that in 2026, which, do the math, that's 4 years from now, 35% of vehicles sold in California have to be zero emission, essentially have to be either powered by hydrogen or battery electric. And that's just not going to happen.
So if I go into a dealer,
there's no way that can happen.
I don't even know how you'd regulate it because if I go into a dealership out there and say, I want this Ford Mustang, even if it's got the 4-cylinder gasoline powered engine in it, you're going to tell me, no,
we haven't reached our quota.
We missed our quota, so you have to buy the Mach-E, the electric one.
Right.
No, you go to Nevada and buy it.
No, you can't. They're regulating that too. You cannot bring a vehicle in. Dealerships cannot trade or move vehicles in for you to buy.
Yeah. What are manufacturers going to do that aren't prepared to do that? Because there's plenty of manufacturers. Some manufacturers can maybe supply a larger number of electric vehicles, but there's plenty of brands that just don't have that ability, and they're not going to have that ability in 4 years' time. I can tell you that.
Well, I don't know. Well,
you get what you vote for. Welcome to California.
Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome to come here, Jack.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you here in Texas.
Last week actually, and I'm thinking, really, they talk now in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it's becoming more and more appealing to this guy.
Well, I'll tell you, look at your cohort there, Elon Musk. He came to Texas.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
what is the thing on you and Jack's
billionaires and
yeah, that's it. Jack, what's the hot thing that you've got going on as far as cars are concerned in the Jack Nerad world?
Well, I've been driving a lot of SUVs recently, luxury SUVs in particular. I drove the Lexus RX recently. That's their 800-pound gorilla. I mean, the Lexus franchise depends on the RX. I had a good time with that. It's got pretty avant-garde styling. I think the styling might, shock some people. They've changed their spindle grille a bit. It's an all-new vehicle, and they have a performance hybrid, which I'm sure all of you guys will be excited to drive. But I think Toyota actually is fairly realistic about what can be done in terms of electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, all of that. And I think a hybrid is a nice compromise where you have the ability to use gasoline and use that energy, but, gain some power from a hybrid system. I think that there's some sense to that. So I was excited to drive that vehicle, and I really think Toyota and Lexus are on the right track. I'm not sure the entire industry is on the right track.
Jack, what are your thoughts on plug-in hybrids?
It's kind of fascinating to me because I don't know what the magic formula is for the size of the battery. I mean, the price depends on the size of the battery. The range depends on the size of the battery. And is 50 miles of range enough? Do you need 75 miles of range? You have the gasoline engine, so you don't have to rely on that totally. I think it's in a lot of ways a good solution. At the same time, you're paying for two powertrains, right? So there's pluses and minuses to plug-in hybrids. I think for most people, a plug-in hybrid would be a much more practical solution, though, than an electric vehicle, a battery electric vehicle.
But even at that, you would really need to have a level 2 charger in your garage. If you have a garage, we read a story earlier about the fact that, 30 some odd % of America lives in condos and apartments that don't even have chargers. They'd have to go to a public charger.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big untold story about the whole EV movement, too. I mean, in a lot of ways, an electric vehicle would be a perfect urban vehicle, except that people can't charge them, right? I mean, you don't have to go very far if you live in the city. But a lot of people who live in cities, and, I grew up outside Chicago. A lot of people growing up in Chicago don't have a parking place, even a dedicated parking place, a lot less a garage where they can plug this thing in and do their own charging. So I think there's a lot of holes in the thinking here.
Yeah,
to say the least.
I agree. What do you think about, Ford is coming out with the new Mustang that they're supposed to debut at the Detroit Auto Show next week. Do you think that is going to last as an electric far enough into the future that they're going to be able to actually sell them and have a decent price on them as a gasoline car and then move into the electric in the same chassis?
That would be fascinating to see, won't it? Because I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think Ford Motor Company knows the answer to that. I think Ford and Toyota are, kind of hedging their bets between gasoline, regular internal combustion engine vehicles, and electrics. I think others, General Motors, is kind of going a whole hog for electrics. I don't know that that's the right answer. And when you see something like California doing what it's done, and then other states will follow. Other states are tied by legislation to follow what California is doing, which is kind of frightening for those states and people who live in those states. I don't know what the answer is. It's sure going to cause disruption. And we've seen Dodge, eliminate or announce the end of the Charger and Challenger, two vehicles very much like the Ford Mustang, right? So it leaves me to wonder what's going to happen with Mustang going forward.
Well, and I hear rumors that the Camaros, the clock is ticking on that line of cars.
Right. Those rumors have been out since 2010 when they first released it. You know,
Yeah.
Camaro's always been at the end of production. I
Well,
think that helps them sell
but I
some.
mean, based on sales, I mean, they're not selling any Camaros, relatively speaking.
Absolutely true. Absolutely. And it'd be a shame to lose those cars, but, you know, they just don't seem to. I mean, there's a whole generation that even doesn't understand what a two-door car is, really. I mean, they don't even grasp what a coupe or a two-door convertible is actually about, because they've grown up with four-door SUVs, and it just doesn't make any sense to them.
Jack, what do you think the truck market's going to do? I recently drove the Ford Lightning, and I'm sure that you have too. And I don't really kind of understand that, because if you're going to sell a fleet vehicle that basically has 250 miles on a charge, and I own the plumbing company down the street, 250 miles on a charge is not just not enough for me.
Yeah, again, it's a brave new world with this stuff, right? And we just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you can make the case that if I owned some kind of large plumbing company that had many trucks, it would be great if they all came to a central location and charged overnight and were off to go the next day, and you never had to buy fuel for them, and maintenance was less for them. You can make that case about the Lightning. At the same time, an individual plumber, as so many of them are, or people operating a couple of the trucks, it doesn't give them the flexibility. It's much higher cost to begin with, higher initial cost, and then it doesn't give them the flexibility that a gasoline or diesel vehicle would give them.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because the truck that I was given out of the press fleet was actually a work truck. It was painted red, but it still had rubber floor mats in it, and it had the Naugahyde seats, if you want to call them that. They still use that word anymore?
Corinthian.
But Corinthian leather, whatever the case may be. It wasn't real leather seats.
Yeah. And it was probably $47,000, $48,000, $50,000.
Yep, that's right.
That's an issue, because a work truck like that would probably be about $32,000, $35,000.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Well equipped, right? So, I mean, it's a big difference in purchase price. Of course, purchase price is only part of overall cost of ownership, but it's a substantial part.
Correct.
And fleet companies rotate vehicles on a regular interval. You know, they're going to rotate their entire inventory out every 3 or 4 years, so that higher price quickly eats into their profitability.
Not only that, but fleet vehicles have special maintenance programs that they use
well,
to keep them
on a pure EV. I think that's where they think some of the savings is going to be. But the long-term durability of the battery system, I don't know that that's proven itself yet, as far as how long batteries last and then how expensive they can be to replace when that time comes.
Jack, what are you looking forward to for the new model year? Anything in particular that's coming out that excites you?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of them, actually. There's actually quite a few sports vehicles coming out. I can't wait to drive the Nissan Z. I haven't driven that yet. That should be cool.
Yep.
I think I want to spend more time in the Lexus RX. I think the revised Hyundai Palisade is a very good vehicle. So, there's a bunch of various vehicles out there that are coming for 2023 that I think are pretty exciting.
Well, and we always look forward to your take on all of it as well. And it's always good to talk to you. And I know it's early in the morning there, but you always are the trooper. Got your hair combed and your teeth brushed, and always managed to make it in front of the camera for us. And we sure appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. Next time, I promise I'll put on pants, too.
No, then Don will have to put on pants.
Yeah,
Don't start a trend.
Yeah, exactly. Jack, again, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, my pleasure. You guys have a great week.
You do the same. Jack Nerad, America on the Road is the name of his show. And great guy, very knowledgeable. He is very entertaining. Let's do some headlines. I've got a few. This was not that big of a surprise, but the way that it was written kind of surprised me. Honda's 2023 Civic Type R will be the second ever Type R sold in the U.S., and it's bringing more power to the game. When I say that, it's relative. So here, listen to this. Latest Type R's turbocharged 2-liter four-cylinder engine will crank out 315 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, according to Honda, an improvement of 9 horsepower and 15 pound-feet over the previous edition. When paired with a 6-speed manual and rev-matching system with slick gear shifts, it'll be the most powerful Honda vehicle ever released in the U.S. and one of the most powerful models ever under the brand name. To add the sensor power and an active exhaust valve will open at higher RPMs, allowing for more enhanced engine sound.
So somebody puts that coffee can on the back of it, and it goes.
Sounds like a really irritating bumblebee.
Electric vehicles owners are turning to retail chains to play the role of gasoline stations along with road drivers, place to recharge the car and body. Both Starbucks and IKEA recently announced. Really? How often do you go to IKEA? Well, with charging networks to install banks of chargers that look to attract customers who need something to do while their vehicles recharge. Tesla pioneered the trend by locating much of its proprietary supercharging network chain restaurants and retail centers. But as the number of EV owners from other brands grow, drivers are looking for charging stations that work with their vehicles. Charging infrastructure is one of the most significant issues facing the burgeoning EV sector. A pair of studies from J.D. Power and CDK Global recently found not only are charging stations hard to find, many have slow charging speeds or are broken
and expensive. CDK study found that 60% of respondents reported concerns about charging network availability being an obstacle to purchasing an EV. J.D. Power found that 20% were deep duty.
So you heard Buick is offering 0% interest on the Encore, the 2022 and 2023 Encore. That's their smallest vehicle.
Very nice, I like it.
Back when I worked for Oldsmobile, when they offered 0% interest, they said, yeah, there's no interest in the car, so we're going to offer 0% interest and try and sell them.
Yeah, it's funny because remember the small, compact, or subcompact EVs were a thing for a very short period of time. People going, it's a little bit too small. Everybody abandoned it. Yeah, and then they abandoned them. And now the smallest, I think, that's viable still is the midsize.
When you add, and I know it's not the same platform, but it reminded me of the XT.
Well, that's where the Chevy Equinox EV is just announced, and that's what size it's going to be.
By the way, the first fully electric Jeep for the U.S. is scheduled to arrive in 2024. Wrangler-inspired Recon and a sleek midsize crossover called the Wagoneer S will mark the beginning of the battery electric era for the brand in its market. The Recon, like the Wrangler, will have removable doors, windows, and power top to offer open-air driving with the Wagoneer S, despite sharing the name of the brand's largest SUVs, has its own design language. Jeep is targeting a range of 400 miles for the Wagoneer S, aims to produce 600 horsepower with a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds. Why do you care about 0 to 60 time? It'll be sold in major markets around the world, including Europe.
Right. So Bowling Green, I mentioned it earlier, the Bowling Green Museum. Bowling Green Assembly Plant is going to reopen for tours. They closed down tours in 2016. So they're going to reopen for
more reason for me to take a Corvette vacation this fall and head up over We're going to finish up today's show right after a break. Stay with us here on the Real Time Car Talk Show. Get out the permanent marker and write on your wall calendar the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, September 17th, 2022. It's the fall edition of Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. It's the only place cruisers compete for Lupi's Chili Pepper trophies and other prizes. There's no charge to enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, or Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest and most unique cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rod, show cars, classics, and resto mods. And Get Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos with adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for those much sought-after custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. It's Tailpipes and Tacos Fall Edition, Saturday, September 17th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate the beginning of fall and the return of the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday morning, September 17th, 8 to 11 a.m. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk.
And I'd like to thank George Skelton for the very nice picture of the SS Battleship Texas. That was sent to me this week. Really appreciate that. Great stuff.
Thank you, George, as always. Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're on Facebook, check out our page. Give us a like. Tell your friends about us. Share our junk, if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting because you're still doing those, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, they go up a couple of times a week.
All things automotive week long for free, by the way. Including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other goodies too. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeart Radio app when it works. In Wheel Time can also be seen live on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11. 30-minute podcast available from your favorite podcast provider 7 days a week. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our marketing advertising manager, video technical director, we need more Jeff Seekin. For booking agent, podcast editor Mike Mars, and his loyalty king Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Today's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is produced by King Charles. Be sure to join us again for the next 3-hour In Wheel Time Car Talk Show Saturday, September 17th, starting at 8 a.m. Central, live from Tailpipes and Tacos, the Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend, and until next time, car lovers.